got Chad Focus. I call you Focus, man. Thank you for your time. I mean, you're a genius. When people don't know who you are, they're going to. You're literally a genius. I'm a coder by nature. I don't look like it, you know what I mean? But I'm a coder. What you can do, shit, I'm nothing. So thank you for your time. And again, condolences. I know you lost a family member, and my heart goes out to you, man. Seriously.
Appreciate it, man. I
want to get into a lot of the other stuff, but you know, me and Rob were from Philly, so we saw the tickets. You know, we were kids, the ticket scalpers, and I hate to make you repeat yourself from Vice and everything, but that is crazy. So tell me about like these ticket scalpers. So you know, we would go in as kids at 18, 19. You see this prick there with, you know, jeans and a T-shirt on, but really they're working for the company, and that goes for like StubHub too, right?
Exactly. So I put it like this, right? I'm from Baltimore. The first couple games that I used to go to, man, my stepfather was from DC, right? So I used to go to the games, and you obviously knew that you could get tickets, man, for much more affordable than what's on the actual website, right? And you know, you see the guys out front, and it almost seems like a system. You understand what I'm saying? They were way too organized and way too peaceful, in an organized, chaotic way for it to be like not a system. All right. And that's what I remember, man, growing up, man. I'm talking about Orioles games, man, early Ravens games, going to the Washington Wizards. And I'm like, it's always a ticket that should be worth $100 that we can get for like $10 and, you know, a bag of popcorn or something like that, right?
Yeah, we would have the nosebleed seats at the Phillies games. Like Phillies games, Sixers games, you know what I mean? Nosebleeds.
Hey, look, this is Baltimore Orioles when we still got Rifkin, man.
Oh, you know wow. You had Rifkin. That's right. That's back in the day, boy.
This is during the Iron Man days, guys, when he didn't miss a game at all, right? Rafael Palmeiro, you know, stuff like that, man.
Remember him?
Yeah. Eddie Murray. I don't know if you guys know these names, man. Harold Baines.
Yeah.
So I've always been hit, man, to kind of like the salesmanship, man, and the scalping was just a part of the environment, right? And so, you know, where we were at, man, you could always get a seat, no matter if it was sold out or not. And I understand business-wise, I think the best thing for the guys to see is that you go on a website, all the good tickets are gone. And the thing that I've learned, man, is, you know, perception is everything, especially in marketing. And more than anything, man, scarcity and urgency, that drives the market. Yep. All right. And it's not for me just about the ticket concerts, right? I think about the PlayStation 5 releases or the Xbox, how it always feels like by Christmas time, the time that you should have the most of something, right? In inventory is absolutely nothing left. Right at the most desperate times, when the parents actually all had $500 for once at this time of the year, there's no PlayStations left, and next thing you know, it's a guy in the streets with a PlayStation for $1,000 or $1,200. So I look at business, man, at all places and all setups. I think there's chaotic like organization, and so like you guys say, man, we know that scalping is a part of the organizations. What they set up now, man, with these artist guys is that they actually got these clauses in their contracts that make sure a certain percentage of the actual concerts get sold out and brought out because they don't want to perform in front of an empty audience, even if the actual venue pays for those tickets and gives them away for free. So I'm more so the guy that you see, man, that does like trial and error. I'm a reverse engineer. I can sit and study something for a couple minutes, guys, and figure out the exact back end, you know, and then work myself backwards. So that's exactly what you guys see, man. And it's a sport for me. You get what I'm saying? To compete against the major corporations and whatever team of 1,000 people they got inside of a room. You know, me and a couple guys and a couple laptops and some weed, we'll figure it out ourselves.
I always wondered that because last night I stayed up a lot reading about you. So, like, when you go, I remember, you know, say you want an Xbox game. Okay, now, you can't tell me that they don't have somebody in China that can make 20 million of these motherfuckers. But somehow, whatever the popular Xbox game is, or the Yeezys, like you said before, or the Jordan Retros, all of a sudden they're sold out. You got a line from here to the moon as if they can't make them. So then people think, oh, well, they just do that so it's scarcity. But especially with the games, because, you know, the games are big. Imagine the money that they're making. Well, you know, the money that they're making on that. So they go buy them, and then they'll sell them on off sites, whatever else. But it's the company doing it, and then their revenue's higher, and then they can write it off. That's the craziest part.
Of course. But you know why, man? Like I said, the infrastructure, man, is also built around bootlegging, right? So say the Alibaba became big, man, about 15 years ago, right? Just being able to go direct to the connect. And if any people, know about drop shipping, guys, or about wholesaling and marketing, most of Amazon's products, man, are coming from like an Alibaba or direct from like a Chinese manufacturer. And when that became public, you seen that the same places that your authentic, Jordans or Nike sneakers are created at the same factory, the actual prototypes, man, or the bootleg is created at the same exact factory, same material, and that right there is crazy because these guys are related too. So making money in the bootleg industry and the legitimate industry, it's all hand in hand. It makes everything run. Right? If you think about Marshalls, man, where I'm from in Baltimore, getting polo, you can either go to the polo outlet and spend full price, or you go to Marshalls, man, and get something where like a thread count is off 1% for like $10. And all the kids where I'm from in Baltimore, man, you want to be wearing the cool shit, man. You want to be rocking the polo. So we've always figured out the loopholes, man. And the loopholes will look, richer than you really are, bro. And that's where I'm from. So once I figured out how those guys, man, were making the margins up and making sure they stayed in the green, I understood how the guys in the city, man, we would, basically capitalize off the system ourselves. So that's for me, bro. I'm coming from a street perception or mindset, and then I also got the corporate background, so I understand how to merge the two, and I live both lives.
So, like, when I was in high school, I was broke or whatever, I would always have money because back then it was called Freelancer. It wasn't called Upwork. It was Freelancer. And I would go to Freelancer, and I would get the retro Jordans, and and I would have the real ones, like because I wanted the real ones. But the retros off of there, which would be Alibaba or DHgate nowadays, you could not tell. There's no way, even with the black light thing when that came. So over there, they get the prototype, being that they're made there, and you find the right connect, and you're getting the exact same shoe.
100%, 100%. But you know what? Even think about it, man, like your Cartier glasses, man, and your Gucci and, different stuff like that. People would rather have the name and not have to go ahead and spend that money. And it also works out for Gucci. You get what I'm saying? The more people that are seen in the brand, especially in communities that they shouldn't be in. So that's just how it goes, man. And a lot of people live a affluential life, or they want to be a part of something, right? That's how the game goes, man. Every kid in the city, man, wants to have Jordans before they had Payless, right? You think about it, Shaquille O'Neal's was for sale. You could have had a pair of Allen Iversons. Man, he ready to kill over a pair of Jordan releases. And so also what you're saying, you could afford the real Jordans, but you could also afford to go ahead and import your own Jordans in here. That's that information aspect. So me and you got intel that most people don't have, because they would go direct to the consumer or direct to the merchandiser themselves. Instead, people like me and you, we get to play the middleman. So we're basically what you call the plug, man. We plugged in.
Yeah. So now, like Foot Locker online and all them, are they actually selling the real ones, or if they run out of a shoe, are they getting them? Do you think they're getting them from China? I'm just curious.
I'll put it like this, right? I think that for their quality control, most of your Foot Lockers and athlete foots and stuff like that, I think these guys are selling the legitimate, authentic brands. What I will say is the resellers is the ones you got to watch, right? Your StockX's and your Flight Clubs. What does the quality control look like for those guys? You understand what I'm saying?
The GOAT.
They in the resale market, right? And I did an actual show, man, was Vice TV. You guys got to check it out.
We're going to pull it up.
I did the show. Yeah, man, it's dope. And so the show allowed me to meet this kid, man. We got Bada Boy Nova. He's basically a part of the resale market. And this guy, he literally buys out the Jordans in seconds with bots as soon as they hit the actual auctions, right? And so now this young kid, man, him and a group of teenagers, they're buying the Jordans for $200. They're relisting them for $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. You can watch these kids get rich live. And so they got all types of Discord groups, and they do Facebook and YouTube. So, I'm like the, godfather of the bots. But if you see what these young guys are doing now, it's on a whole entire different level, man. It's unbelievable.
And I want to point out as we get into it, you're doing something real special. You're trying to help out the black community. And I've had guys like Jesse Peterson on, who's a black guy, okay, and white guys who are sticking out for the black community. And the politicians are trying to keep the black community in the hood. Here's a check. Here's a check every week. Here's health care. Have 5 babies, and we're going to give you even more money. But you just sit here and do what we want and don't excel. And what you're trying to do, regardless of what happened, is you're trying to show, like, you came from Baltimore. We're from Philly. I know Baltimore. You don't want to fuck around in Baltimore. Fuck that. I mean, there's certain places. I mean, the white man doesn't go in that motherfucker unless you know somebody. I mean, straight up. I mean, for real. And what you're trying to, North Philly's the same way. But and what you're trying to do is show these African Americans, hey, you don't need to stay there. Look at me. And I think that's great. And we're going to get into your university and what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
It's just really a cool thing that you're doing, because the agenda is going after the African Americans.
Well,
this episode is sponsored by ZBiotics. What is ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic? The ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is a genetically engineered probiotic you drink before drinking alcohol to avoid that rough next morning and get back to living your life. PhD scientists invented it because they know the real problem is not dehydration. It's a toxic byproduct of alcohol, and ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the only product that breaks it down. Just remember to drink responsibly and plenty of rest too. Every time I have ZBiotics before drinking, I'm amazed at how good I feel the next day. ZBiotics is a must-have for me because it means I'm still going to make my daily workout even if I have a few drinks the night before. That's important to me. You can get ZBiotics for 15% off your first order using my code MSCSmedia at checkout. I recommend getting the 6-pack. That's what I got. It's a great deal. You have a couple extra to share with friends. Go to zbiotics.com/MSCSmedia. That's Z as in zebra, biotics, BIOTICS.com/MSCSmedia, or scan the QR code on the screen right now and get 15% off your first order. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Breaking news, Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right, they are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shape, the technology behind Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shave your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using code MSCSmedia for 20% off and free shipping. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all the stubble trouble with Manscaped's Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a monster of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. No more messing around in drawers, this color one, that color one, all with one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower and avoid all that hair in the sink. The Pro Kit doesn't end there, though. First, there's the beard shampoo and conditioner. You need to remember your hair is different. Next, Manscaped's beard oil. Cap it off with beard balm. The Pro Kit also comes with 3 different gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code MSCSmedia at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code MSCSmedia.
It's historically been like this, right? Think about, separation and segregation. Like some of these areas in Baltimore, if you know, you know, right? So we got Pennsylvania Avenue, and it used to be one of the most popular places, man, where even your biggest performers, man, your Sammy Davis and your Ella Fitzgerald, they would come and perform. Now these are like drug-riddled communities, man, big heroin blocks. And Baltimore, man, used to be a beautiful area, man. North Avenue that we see today, bro, it used to be an amazing place to live. Now it's probably the most violent place to go back and forth. And like you said, there's communities that you just don't go. Even for Philly, man, I got friends, and I had an ex-girlfriend. She actually went to school at Temple. So I used to spend a lot of time out there, man. Man, you know how dangerous it was, man, going outside after a certain hours, man, around that Temple community. You know, it's a McDonald's right there. I remember across the street from the school, you can get stood up and robbed at any type of time. Some of our black community schools, man, our Morgan States, our Coppin are in the most dangerous communities in Baltimore that you can have. So even being a college student, man, and coming and being a part of this environment, you might go to the wrong corner store, bro, and never make it back home. So when you just think about how that plagues on your mind, the kind of anxiety that you're dealing with, the PTSD, for me, I went on the outside, man. I went to a school in Westminster called McDaniel. I was in the conference, man, with Johns Hopkins, Swarthmore, Gettysburg, you know, the MITs of the world. You know, I have the highest GPA. Wow. And this is when, guys, something called affirmative action was a thing, right? So me being the young black guy, I had to, of course, be better than all my peers, but I was the only one in all my classes, from IT, trigonometry, calculus, AP science, social studies. And I had to hold myself to a certain standard, you know, while also playing sports at the school. And there was nobody else that looked like me. And where I left from, man, in Baltimore County, I went to Randallstown High School. None of my friends, bro, had the same opportunities as me. I was the only one in my neighborhood that went to college. So imagine, you know, you having a graduation party and you got 300 people that are coming to say goodbye to you. you know, you're going to eventually see the envy. Like, look, bro, you leaving us behind, man. You get an opportunity that we all didn't have. I'm blessed, man, to come from a great family. I'm blessed, man, to, like I said, have overcome my circumstances. But I also realized a lot of guys weren't able to navigate the same exact terrain, man. Lost a lot of friends, man, to the streets. Been to more funerals than weddings. And when you see that kind of trauma, man, it also empathizes you in your heart where you feel responsible. You get what I'm saying? There's something we call a black tax. When I made it, I felt like we all had to make it. And as you see my stories, my documentaries, you watch what I got going on, it's not just about me putting people on. It's about trying to even the playing field. And I also get a lot of pushback from people that look like me, because there's guys that figured out the code too. Don't get it twisted. I'm not just the only genius out here, but I'm trying to push the envelope, and I'm also trying to even the playing field so everybody kind of has an opportunity. Now we got the internet. Anybody can go on YouTube and teach themselves a new trade, a new skill set. The guys that are self-taught, a lot smarter than the guys that you see that are going to college. So I understand that, man. And I understand that if we even the playing field, we're going to see the best of the best out of everybody. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Italian, Spanish. So I'm one of those guys, man. I'm one of those guys that appreciate the hustle. And like I said, I see your hustle. I know your background. I know your story. Philly and Baltimore, exactly like New York and Chicago. We all coming from a tough city, and we done figured out how to make it against all odds.
He went to Temple.
Yeah.
You remember that McDonald's?
Yeah, the McDonald's right across from my dorm room there. It was at the corner.
You know exactly. Yeah, you know.
Right down there on North Broad, right there. Yep.
You can't forget the Temple McDonald's. No. That's like a staple, right?
Yep. And then there was a Chinese restaurant right around the corner from there. It was great Chinese food, but
there you go. And you go around the corner, it's like, all right, this is the project. What's going on here, man?
Yeah.
There you go.
And what's funny is what you just said. We just had Professor Amy Wax on from UPenn, and she basically she said I had her on, to help her cause, older, white woman, and she had said something like, look, the reason why African Americans have lower IQ is not because of society or whatever. It's because basically she was saying you keep them in the same behavior, and they but that and other things, and they suspended her. You believe that shit?
Yeah.
Well, she's speaking the truth.
Yeah, that's why I give her credit. Man. You know what I mean?
The truth hurts, man. And like I've been telling everybody, man, my transparency has been my superpower. A kid coming and speaking it like it is and saying, look, yo, this is the problem. There's a No Child Left Behind documentary. I'm going to tell you guys about this. When I was in high school, 2005, we played against a school called Douglas High School. This is a city school. The way that the funding worked from No Child Left Behind was based off attendance. All right. You will only get funding based off of like a 90 percentile or up attendance rate. Wow. For the kids that don't have an infrastructure at home, that were living with their grandparents, whose parents were on drugs, guaranteed to fail. That means that all the additional funding went to your Howard counties, went to your Glen Burnys, went to your Montgomery counties. So if you look at what was done, they were actually, capitalizing off of the discrepancies of what we were dealing with as Black people in the community. Parents not being present, people dealing with drug abuse. And so for me, I've seen the kids in the city and the kids in the actual county that looked exactly the same, facing the same exact issues. It didn't matter where you were living at. If education wasn't emphasized, if attendance wasn't emphasized, then none of us got funding. So you could live in a good neighborhood and have horrible books and have terrible teachers. You live in a bad neighborhood and have the same exact conditions. So for us, it didn't matter if you got out or you didn't get out, you still mirrored the same exact end result, right? So for me, right, think about doing everything the right way. Went to college, never got arrested, didn't have any kids out of wedlock, making 6-7 figures, man, in my early 20s, still went to federal prison. I'm still the most famous criminal in Baltimore, no matter how I got out of that environment, right? I became a national story. Your CNN, your MSNBCs, your Donkey of the Days, Breakfast Clubs. So I couldn't even escape, bro, what could have been for me, myself. And I went every other avenue outside of just the criminal aspect, man, or anything that I felt was negative. I went to corporate America, and I became the Black Wolf of the Wall Street, so.
Yeah, you got to do
how it works, right?
Yeah, I got to set you up with this guy for a documentary. He's good. No, really, I do. I'll tell you about him later. But that's sick to do that kind of shit. So basically, you're just set up to fail. You know what I mean? They're just set up to bury you.
It's facts, man. And some people don't want to admit it and have that conversation, bro. It just is what it is, and the opportunities are very limited. Like I say, man, you guys know my story. I worked at Gore Financial, bro. I was the one person that looked like me that wasn't a janitor or a secretary. So, young Black kid in his 20s, man, multi-million-dollar corporate Amex account, managing all types of operations with no experience. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a person that coached me. I didn't have the resources to rely on. Didn't have mental health clinics. Didn't have anybody to coach you or talk to. So you know how important being successful is. You need a mentor. You need somebody that cares about you. And, you know, predominantly, you hope that person looks like you, that you guys can relate to, right? So that's really what it goes down to, man. We, like I said, I'm fortunate. I come from a great background, a great family, man, but even I couldn't escape, you know, certain pitfalls.
And for people that don't know, I don't know if you could do it now, but you figured out the Spotify algorithm. And as a coder, I've never seen code better than their algorithm. How in the world, like, forget about the bots and all that other shit, because the bots is one thing, but your intelligence level to figure out the algorithm, like how many of this, how many of that, that's no joke. You know, people don't understand, I think, when they watch, you know, you or whatever, oh, he just went and bought shit, blah, blah. It's a whole, like, science, mathematical equation to it. How did you figure out their algorithm? Like, Apple seems so loose. Like, if you have half a brain, you could get on top 10 on Apple. But Spotify specifically, I don't know how hard it was back then, but I know you know how hard it is now. How did you figure out the formula, like the secret formula?
I got you. I'll put it like this, man. A lot of trial and error, a lot of failure. And for me, like I said, man, I'm from Baltimore, you're from Philly. Like, we could step outside and be the last day of our lives. So to me, meeting so many people that are timid, I'm like, bro, you got 0 streams, bro. You know, 40 million people last year had 0 streams. So for these guys to be like, yeah, but my profile could be at risk. Well, we figured that shit out. So I was able early on, man, to find a loophole because I spent a lot of time out in California, right? So when Spotify was becoming a thing, man, early like 2016, I met the engineers that were working for the company. And what people don't realize is that there's always somebody that works for a company that feels underappreciated, right? Make those guys your friends. So the top engineers at your Spotify, the guys that were developing on Python, they took me by the side and I paid them more than the Spotify actual affiliates and offices was, right? So I'll take you guys, employee that you're spending $50,000 with, I'll give him $120,000, take care of his family, put his kids in college. He'll give me the information. So I value the employees of a Spotify, of a Apple, of a Tidal more than sometimes the actual corporation does. Because I come from that, right? So I'm going to pay you what you worth plus that. I'm going to get the information, man. I've done a lot of testing. I've done a lot of data. Back in the day, the playlists were the big thing for Spotify. So all the big actual artists were doing the playlisting. And that's when you could go ahead, basically, man, and buy from a certain area. You know, get a computer or a system and listen to a record a lot of times. I had a big boy budget. So what I think Spotify never planned for was a guy that was independent, who owned his own masters, publishing, distribution, and could look at the data. They have the same exact budget as a Universal Music or an Atlantic or an Interscope. I was spending the big bucks. All right. And when you're spending that type of money, you get that kind of data. You know, I was one of the first guys that was introduced to pixels and retargeting. So I did a lot of paid advertising. And what I want everybody to know is that it wasn't just about the bots. It was about these guys trying to oppress me as an independent. They were like, man, this guy's got unbelievable streams. He's got, you know, frequency from here. He's getting plays from India, New York. Like, who is this unnamed guy that understands how to do marketing, that understands how to do targeting? So I'm really, really good at advertising. And Spotify is just a bot, just like anything else, guys. And if you train your own bot and you understand, like I said, coding and programming, it will teach itself. So I was one of the early adopters of automation. I started off, man, building systems that could trigger the Google algorithm. So that was the first algorithm I broke. I broke it like that. Like, the websites are based off of votes. They're based off of backlinks and social signals. If you got enough access to enough counts, then you got influence. When you got influence, you got popularity and fame. You got fame and you got ownership, you got money. So Spotify is based off the same algorithm. Right now, you know, you do really well organically. You got a lot of reach. You got high quality value. You got great content. You got great guests. For a guy like myself, how do I compete with what you got? Right. But if I got a budget, I got good enough credit, I can go and I can buy influence from around the world to go ahead and put me in the same space as you. Once I trigger the algorithm, right, and I'm top 50, I'm top 20, now I have what's called the clout factor. And when people see it, because perception is everything, they be like, I got to pay attention to this. You know, the music industry, the entertainment industry, having a #1 spot has always been an important thing. I fell in love with the industry when I seen Kanye West beat 50 Cent out about 16, 17 years ago. Yeah, I remember. And they had a big competition as far as who was going to have the #1 album. 50 Cent came out a week later and was like, yo, Kanye West's label, man, they brought them other 400,000 copies, man. they going to guarantee he got a platinum album. I'm independent. And it stuck with me. Independent is not supposed to be number one. So I looked at the infrastructure. Okay, Taylor Swift is doing 1, 2, 3 million streams a day. How much would it cost for me to take that number one slot? And then I put together my own formula, man, based off the data. I would have been a number one artist in the world over and over again, man, if Spotify never stifled my movement, which I respect. Because if Chad Focus becomes number one without a record deal, without any resources, without anybody with his hands in his pocket, then you really done broke the matrix.
I'll get into this more later, but wow. He went so crazy with it that you were like neck and neck with Taylor Swift, weren't you?
Taylor Swift, great.
Independent guy in 3 months. He's neck and neck with fucking Taylor Swift. That's how good he is.
Yeah, shit.
It's still there to this day, right? If you guys go Google Chad Focus Spotify charts, now this is why Google's a shit. You can Google it right now. I was doing 1 million streams, right, with one record that nobody had ever heard before. Not only that, guys, I had built my own apps where I had connected the API key from Spotify to my video games, and I was auto downloading it across the world. So, man, I was on my PlayStation, Xbox, Madden, NBA 2K type shit early, and I just think different, guys. Like I said, I'm extremely blessed, man. I see shit in a different type of way. And when they say it's the Matrix, man, and I call myself Neo and whatnot, bro, that was just the only comparison that I could come up with that I thought was cool, because it just really felt like that, man. It felt like a place where we weren't supposed to win. And being from Baltimore, man, I never seen nobody like me, one, be on the charts without access to a major label. I come from Cisco and Mario and some of those guys that were really big locally. And then when the actual mainstream stops supporting you, it feels like these guys disappear, even though they're extremely talented. So that's how you know that the machine is a real thing. There's no reason that our favorite artists or creatives are popular one day, we see them everywhere one day, and then the next day when they don't have a deal, it's like they disappeared. So that always intrigued me. And then I went and I asked some of these guys, like, man, what's going on as far as like your back end and your royalties? And they were like, bro, I don't even own my music. No wonder why you weren't in any of those meetings as far as the marketing and advertising. No matter what, you didn't have an ownership incentive. Your job was to go out there and perform and not ask any questions. So I watched stories like the Lauryn Hill disappearing after Miseducation of Lauryn Hill being one of the greatest albums ever, right? I ask questions when TLC does a documentary and they say, we were making this amount of money. I watched the documentaries when New Edition went broke after 2 albums and going on tour. So things that I'm going to break down today is going to absolutely blow your mind. I know exactly where the advance goes to. I know that it's a terrible loan. I know what perpetuity means. I broke my own contract. So I read all of the material that everybody else is not looking at. I read the terms of service, and I know that there's wiggle room. So I'm the guy that's finding the loopholes. Shout out to Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal. You better start bringing a guy like me on board instead of having us continue to break your systems, because it's not as difficult as you think. The smartest guys are not working, for your companies. I can tell you that.
Now, a couple of things. How did you come from Baltimore, you do your thing. How did you get in a position where you were hanging out with the Spotify engineers? And that's very entrepreneur intelligent. Like, you looked for the engineer, you saw he was getting underpaid, you get buddy with him, boom, you get what you want. That, and also, what did happen to Lauryn Hill? I always did wonder that. Like, Lauryn Hill just, she was crushing it, gone. New Edition, crushing it, gone. Now, the media will tell you, oh, well, Bobby went and did fucking coke or whatever it is. But yet they come out 10 years later and they have a smash. So what happened with that that's related?
I think about this, right? Think about this narrative. And this is some real shit, right? You look at a Lauryn Hill, and then you hear Jay-Z speak about her story about ownership and not feel like she's being treated the right way. Then look at what happened to Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince. Just all of our greatest creatives and influential people just had substance abuse and they checked out, right? Is that a pattern that nobody's really looking into? Lauryn Hill dealt with the same thing that Michael Jackson and Prince dealt with. Michael Jackson owned Sony, man. He owned half of the industry. He owned the Beatles' actual catalog. He was coming out and speaking, right? And so what they used to say against Michael Jackson is that he's no longer black, guys. And he's like, look, man, I want equality. I want people to have access. I want artist rights. I want royalty rights. I think that people like Lauryn Hill were fighting for equality in the industry. When you look at what Jay-Z's done with Tidal, he basically is like, look, I'll make Beyonce, Kanye West, and some of my friends' music exclusive on my platform. That's like what Netflix and Apple TV does, and Amazon. It's just a black guy that was like, this is how we'll capitalize off the market. And what did they do? They spanked his hands, right? Tidal got hit with the early streaming fraud cases, and they screamed on Jay-Z for what they call he was gatekeeping content. When everybody else does it, it's an issue. You know, it's not an issue. When we do it, it's an issue, right? So I've been fortunate, bro. When I went into corporate America, like I said, I worked at a company called Agora. When people see me coming to conferences, they probably prejudge me, right? You see a young guy with his chains on and his hat and, you know, his beard. He got his swag on. You look at me and like, look, man, he doesn't know anything. That allowed me to go into the rooms and not be seen as a threat. All right. So I rocked them to sleep. I'm the cool guy. I'm the guy that you want to have out for the ladies and the parties.
Smart, man.
And in the meanwhile, you're giving me all the secrets and all the trade secrets and you're bragging about
because they think you're an idiot.
And nobody realized I got an Amex card and I probably got more bank than you right now. I got an unlimited budget. That Rolls Royce outside is mine. And I'm standing at the top, you know, room at the Hard Rock Hotel. So everything that I did, bro, was about intel. It was also about finding out who people are when they don't know who you are. So like I said, some of my best friends, yo, are billionaire white guys, billionaire Africans, and some of them are poor people. Like I don't judge anybody.
Right.
And that's what allowed people to be like, yo, he's a genuine dude. I spent a lot of time in Vegas. Agora gave me access, right? And it opened up a lot of doors, man, because I had the funds to walk in any door that I wanted. And I sat in a lot of different conversations, man. I met Grant Cardone early, man. I met Ty Lopez early, man. I met Alex Becker early. I spoke on panels when I shouldn't have been on panels because I was educated. I've been at these SEO conferences and all types of like 10X cons and all types of big shit. And what I did, man, is I retained the information and I'm big on taking action. And I found out what works. And I also, like I said, man, I've been underestimated my entire life. And I don't look like the guy that's the smartest guy in the room. I was never trying to be the smartest guy in the room, man. I was trying to be the smartest guy, period. So that the room wasn't big enough for my aspirations, man.
We got Cardone coming in, I think, next month. But how did you get into, what was it called? I got like some speech impediment ever since I started doing this podcast shit. What's it called? Outgoing, the one with the whole thing.
Agora.
Agora. How did you get into that? You know, because again.
So look.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So look. We got Agora, right, man? They SEO, search engine optimization, man, was an untapped like industry, man. 2010, right? So I was applying for a job that one, nobody really understood, and nobody really had the results to prove. Okay, so I just slipped. Look, be honest with you, bro. I've been slipping through the cracks my entire life. That's all I'm saying. And I've just been blessed and I've been fortunate, man, that opportunity presents itself and I've been prepared, right? I self-taught myself everything that I was doing. So you talk about freelancer. I'll go back to Odesk, freelancer. I was one of the first 1,000 people that had a Fiverr account. So I started engineering and building systems and networking out of my own pockets. And this is a guy that was on unemployment, right? I used to take my $1,200 a month and spend half of my check building WordPress websites, sticking on Black Hat forums, testing and trying all types of software. So by the time I got to Agora and these guys opened up a position, I'm competing against other guys that don't look like me, but I'm coming there with the intel. This is how you set up a website. This is what backend automation looks like. This is how you do the plugins. And they like, yo, this guy actually know what he's talking about.
I see.
If you look online, man, I also wear the suit. I look really good in a 3-piece, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So I know how to look the part, right?
Sean, can you pull up that picture?
I went to Agora, man, and I smacked off my my interview, man. I think I knocked it out the park. They gave me a 4-month trial, which was like almost like an internship, right? They like, look, if you can rank these keywords for this website, they gave me like a ridiculous ass like task to complete.
Yeah.
Within like 3 months, man, I had the website. I was responsible for about 50% of the traffic coming to a website that's making millions of dollars as a startup. You know how that works, right? If I'm responsible for the subscribers, I'm responsible for the people that are purchasing. I understand the lifetime value of what's going on and what I'm doing for you guys. So if you had traffic, which was all PPC, Chad focuses now on a part of your company, 50% of that traffic is now organic Google traffic. This kid is on to something. So I proved myself, man. I was willing to risk. Yeah, I was willing to risk and bet on myself. And not only that, once I was willing to put my own skin in the game, which is I took my own paycheck and I invested in my own systems. I spent a lot of time outside of 9 to 5. I'll call that like a 20 and 24. Every day I was working 20 hours. My job was to outwork all of my peers, man. And so my job was to do that, and I was comfortable outworking everybody. I've been doing it my entire life. That's
interesting, because that's how I am. Well, I figure when they're sleeping, I'm up, and I'm beating them. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And so you went in, they have a job that nobody really knows what they're doing at the time. You apply for it. They bring you in. They don't know what you look like. They just see what you could do. You come in, they give you the 4-month trial. They're like, holy shit, this guy knows what he's doing. And then you remember, and if those who don't know, Google algorithm would update constantly. 1 minute they would be keywords, and then keywords didn't matter. And then it was meta description, short description was the one to do, and keywords didn't matter. And then it was the organic bullshit, and we both know that there's not really a such thing as fucking organic. You know what I mean? You can call it organic, but whatever. And then they would kept changing it, but I call you Focus. But Focus, Focus, he already knew. So when the updates came and all the suits in there were like, oh, what do? We're going to drop. You already knew, because once you, as you know, once you know the keyword, they could switch it to meta, they could switch it to tags at the bottom. It's all the same. Just instead of putting that keyword in, you put in the right tag, or within the meta description, which nobody could see, you just put in the keyword. And you figured that out while the suits can't. And they're like, all right, I guess we got to keep this asshole. You know?
But the fact is this, right? What you just were able to describe so eloquently, they never could. And the fact that you understand and comprehend what I'm saying is mind-blowing to me, which means that you're a fucking genius in your own right. Because my job was to come into those meetings and say what you just said, and everybody a little puzzled, and then for them to clap and be like, well, that's Chad, everybody. So it was almost like a magic trick for them, right? We call Chad, we show up on the first page of Google. So what they also didn't realize is that they never knew how to get it done without me. So that was the way that I ensured myself, right? That was my way to guarantee my place, which was, guys, nobody else can do this. Nobody else has ever done this. You got to come and talk to the big dog. Agorist has 14 different big publications. The company I started at was Money Map Press, so they're an affiliate company. So my systems and my data became the blueprint for the entire company. If I understood what I was becoming, I should be a billionaire today based off of like, look, I'm a padding this, guys, and this is my systems, and this is the data we're going to use, and this is my agency we're going to purchase. I was in my 20s. So I was excited just to show everybody how to do it for free. Fly your affiliates in from Germany, bring everybody in from France, you know, just take me out to get a pair of Jordans, all right? Yeah. Or, you know, take me out to dinner or the strip club. So it was little incentives that kept me happy, right? Making 6 figures and being the only person around the homies that had some real money. I didn't know I should have been a millionaire the day that I fucking figured it out, right? And so when you're talking about the updates, right? Google had
Penguin, fucking Penguin, this one, Sail, Fish, whatever it was that week.
Right. So we would go to conferences, right? They had something called PubCon. And this is during the time that Google is ran by a guy named Matt Cutts. This is before Matt Cutts went to work for the White House. He would literally come to the conferences and scare the shit out of everybody. Like, look, if you use backlinks or you're buying links or you're doing press releases, we're going to blacklist you. So this right here that I'm telling you is going to make the whole Spotify shit make sense. My website was chadarrington.com. I was buying backlinks. I was ranking for like Make Money Online. I was making like $20,000 a month. They eventually flagged my website. They did blacklist it. That's because I wasn't spending any money on paid advertising. I ran the same exact system for Agora, who was spending millions of dollars in paid advertising, which I first learned the major versus the independent. And they didn't blacklist anything that we were doing at Agora. Agora was spamming the shit out of everybody, so they were getting around the Can-Am spec by paying off fucking, you know, fees and all types of fines. And then I realized what corporate versus independent actually meant. It was like a tag. It was like, these guys get to do this shit over here, and these guys get to do this shit over here. And I understood that I needed to align myself with somebody that was in a major space.
And focus,
that was the first time that it sank in, right?
And you'll explain it better than me, just so everybody knows, because this is important. Because everybody, they see the icon, but they don't understand what it is. 2 things, and you'll agree with me, because I've been doing SEO for probably 18 years. And my selling pitch, I never got taken on a jet, these dirty motherfuckers. But, you know, my pitch was like, look, you give me 6 months. I'll get you on page 1. And if you don't add a new item, forget what these other people say. They're just throwing a hook at you. And what they're really doing, Focus, and you know this, is you're paying them, and this is for all of these people paying these SEO companies. They should be going to a guy like you or me or whoever. They say to you, okay, $2,000 a month. And what they're doing is they're actually buying ads, and they're hiding the ad button so that you can't see it in the code. And then when you stop paying them, guess what happens? You drop to page 3,120. But when you do it like we did it, or do it, after 6 months, after you're ranking, you don't need us. I have a web page from 2013 that's still on page 1 and it hasn't been touched. The only time you would need us later is if you were constantly adding new items, right?
Got you.
Because, you know, once you get it right, you don't drop.
Hey, bro, this shit like talking to like another alien. And I'm going to tell you what's funny, right? So I explained this to Vice TV, and they like, Chad, how long did you need the bots? I'm like, to be honest with you, they gave me a certain budget. But what it was is that I had to milk them for my presence. You guys got to pay for the comfort of having me in the house. So if we're doing cheap penny stocks, right? Some shit like that, right? That brings them a lot of money and they're selling items and products for it. I've already built the systems that make sure they rank top 5 on the first page. I've already done so. They've already given me the budget. But you can't argue with me because you were willing to spend $1,000 per click for forever off of the PPC.
Forever.
So
forever.
If you're spending 500 grand with me a year and you used to spend $700,000 a month, there's no argument. The correlation doesn't work. The security is that you got me here, guys, and I can guarantee what's going to happen. What also worked is that, like I said, we got votes, which means that I could find out how many votes a website needed. And once I realized that they weren't being penalized for backlinks, which was I could purchase them from press releases, or I could build my own independent blog network, so I could do link exchanges. Once I realized they weren't penalizing me, that's where me coming into the Spotify world and working with major labels and being like, oh shit, the same campaigns I did for Chad Focus that got me removed from Spotify, I'll just run them for you guys. And so at the end of the day, everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy, but everybody knows I'm not crazy. You understand what I'm saying? I got the data to prove it, and I got the background, and I got the gusto to be like, look, guys, this is just what it is. I'd rather you make it where it's a system like the best of the best is the only guys that can do it. Let's open that up. Let's find out who's really the best at this marketing. So SEO was like that too. And as you get it, man, there's still websites that are ranking to this day. When I got let go from my contract, they still make money off the same exact systems, the same exact pages, sales pages, capture pages, and systems that I built 12 years ago. Yep. They're still getting money off of Chad Focus systems. And when they sent me that case and they was like, we want $4 million in restitution, I'm like, guys, you made that last month. But nobody will ever talk about it.
Yeah, and you were saving that money is what you were doing. You were saving big time because forever and ever and ever, and as the ad prices went up, they would have to pay. But they don't the way you did it. And what they never took into account, which I thought was bullshit when I was reading about everything and they're saying this and that, they don't understand. It's not like you go home and you hit a button. It takes time. You got to sit there like a robot and do things right because one mistake, you ruined it. So they're paying for your time. So maybe, maybe once it's there on page 1 and whatever, but the time that it takes to do it correctly so it stays there here in 2023, that shit takes forever.
Yep, and you're competing against your MSNBCs and Yahoos. Don't forget that I was working for a small contrarian financial news. Like, it's $1 billion corporation, but we got $1 trillion organizations we're fighting against. And I'm going against big corporations and agencies, right? There's SEO agencies with 100 guys, and it's just a young black dude with a couple laptops in the city taking care of business. And for me, I knew how much it took to actually make what I was doing happen, but I made it look so easy. Because that's just what you got to do. When you smooth, when you that guy, you pick up the prettiest girl in the club, you got to make it seem like this is just how it goes. Yeah. And that's just my, that's just how I look at the SEO start, man. And what I was doing, bro, is that I was really intrigued on being able to see Google as like this big titan, and for me to just be out here having my way with them. Like, all right, whatever updates you guys doing, I'm 50 steps ahead of it. All right. Because also with that same setup, Google has guys that work in third world countries who they pay dirt. And what did I do? I found where these guys were, and I was like, I'm going to take care of you, your friends, and your family. And I want you guys to wear shoes. I want you to eat clean food. I want you to have clean showers. So the way that $1 billion corporation doesn't treat their employees, it's a young black kid, man, with minimal resources that's willing to split half his paycheck with these guys so they can live comfortably. So the guys that you met on Fiverr, when I went away to prison, they ran all of my systems. Chad Focus has never, ever had a drop-off as far as what I do business-wise because I took care of the right people. The big corporations will get $1 million contract. They would outsource it for $1,000, keep all the money. I would get a $10,000 contract, keep $5,000 for myself, get $5,000 to the outsourcers. Always been a fair guy. Always made sure that I had enough and made sure that my team had enough for them and themselves. So I take care of the employees that the big Fortune 500 companies will never take care of. I treat them like family. They treat me like family. And when guys like me and you get in certain trouble, bro, and we need to find out who our real friends are, I can't complain, bro.
They ain't gonna be from America, I can tell you that.
Yeah, man. So I'm blessed, man. Like I said, I got workers and family members, as I should say, and employees and co-workers, man, all over the country: Pakistan, Philippines, Bangladesh, Ghana. You name it, bro. I got guys that we rock with.
My main guy, I met on Freelancer 15 years ago. He's in the Philippines, right? Philippines. When I met him, I didn't know. He would sleep under like a leaf. That was his bed, like a leaf and sticks. And he would walk to the library and get on the computer, and that's how I met him. And he would help me with the SEO because that's the only way out. 15 years later, the guy's got, you know, over there, you can get a killer house for 20 grand. He's got a house, a pool, he's driving a car, everything. So for me, it's nice to see that, you know, because, you know, he's living there. I saw him, nice guy and loyal as could be. And they're all doing it. All the big companies are doing it. But, and I think you probably did it the same way. I picked the Philippines because they're 24 hours or they're 12 hours different or 13. So when I'm sleeping, he could work on it and vice versa. And that's how you could crush.
I'm on a call with you, right? I got a young lady named Gladys. She worked all last night, man. So, you know, I got on this call with you at 11. She probably went to sleep at 10, right? So for me, I know that that's 10 p.m. She's been up all day long. So me and her, bro, we working so hard trying to get Focus Music University up, man, working on the back end, doing all types of stuff. I put it in a position that I can come and do interviews with you guys, and I can grind and do the Chad Focus stuff, and she takes care of everything on the back end, the systems, the infrastructure, the upsells. She runs the bank accounts, the deliverables. So when you get that kind of synergy with somebody, bro, I'm not who I am without the guys that are behind me and my team. So we all know that our team is the people that are important to us as well. My family and the people that work with me and work for me is just unbelievable. The reason why I'm as good as what I am, man, as far as marketing and SEO is because those people I invested in early on, they invested in me, bro. And I learned so much from the guys I worked on because I always looked at them like an equal.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Get Checked. Are you the man your father was? Recent studies have shown that men's testosterone levels have dropped substantially since the 1980s at about an average of 1% per year. Think about how old your father was when he was born. For example, if he was 30, your testosterone levels could be 30% lower than his. Low testosterone levels can have all types of health effects on men. It can affect your mood, sex drive, memory, muscle mass loss, you name it. And yes, low testosterone is more common the older you get, but it can affect men at any age. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. You can order a testing kit that will be delivered to you in a discreet packaging with next-day delivery. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available from your secure online account within 2 to 5 days. So, if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com/MSCS Media and get 25% off your test using the code MSCS Media. The link is in the description at the top. This episode is brought to you by Fiji. More than just water.
This is not just rock. It's ancient volcanic rock that filters tropical rain, giving it double the electrolytes and its signature soft, smooth taste. It's not just water, it's Fiji water.
And explain what Python is, because it's a machine learning, but explain what that is, and that would just show how, and that fucking thing's no joke. Like his kit is called Python. Could you explain that to everybody? Because it's
so
important. It'll light people up that he knows how good this is. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just congratulating you, basically.
Tommy's he loves it right now.
I love this shit. Yeah, because when you do it, you're like, oh, finally, I found somebody that fucking understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, guys,
other than Spotify.
You got different programming platforms, right? And so, with Python, it's a system that actually Spotify is built off of. And when you think about machine learning, man, these machines learn off of each other. And as they get smarter, it becomes easier and easier for them to automate. What you got to realize is that Spotify brings the best engineers in the world and they put them all in one room. And these guys got to compete with each other to make sure the systems are more intricate than this one and that one. The same exact system you see with Python. Think about Google, man, and think about Watson and IBM. Everybody is building their infrastructures and hoping that they can build this automation that's better than the next guys. And what they don't realize is that they are just recycling the same engineers, and they're all not taking care of these people, bro, that have built these mainframes and infrastructures. So even before I got on this podcast with you guys, man, I have a call every morning with guys that run systems for me, man. And they not only build the back ends of like a Spotify, but they build the back end of what we call panels. So I got access to social media softwares that allow me to like go viral, right? And so everybody's looking around, they like, yo, this kid came out of prison and he must got $20 million because he's everywhere. Man, I just got access to the right systems, and I got intel, and I understand how the algorithm works.
Would you mean? Would you happen to mean sim panels?
Yeah, but there you go. I call them hey, look, I call them the SMM panels. But this is what you got to realize.
Yeah.
A lot of them are burnt out.
Yeah.
Because me and Tommy are the only ones that know about this stuff. So what you got to realize, you got to build your own custom systems. And that's where the game really becomes fun. Can you do custom coding? Can you build your own custom applications? Can you invest in your own research and your own data? And that's what separates me from a lot of guys, is that I'm not going to just rely on a panel. There's always a new update. Instagram just made updates 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. But something that will always work is influence. I also got access to the most popular people's accounts that also have the biggest following. I'm also well versed as far as using my budget and, you know, being very versatile. So you get it, homie. Like I said, you get the technology, bro. I think that, you know, just being very, very diverse in what you do, man.
How about that? How about that Instagram update? That was a bitch. This one was. I was complaining to him. This one was a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, and look, but think about it like this, right? As long as we have influencer marketing, I think that's what evens out the playing field, right? So if I got my platform and your platform, you got 900,000 followers, I got 300,000 followers. As long as I collaborate and continue to drop great content, I can leverage people's pages. So even as the updates happen, man, and all types of like algorithms change, we'll still have what we call relationships. So you can't outwork networking, right? No. You can't outwork real relationships. And that's what people got to go ahead and realize. At the core, what your relationships like, your net worth is your net worth.
And you got to tell me. So so you have the farm, blah, 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 blah. We'll get to that. What's the algorithm with Spotify? Is what's the sauce? Is it this many followers in this amount of time, this many streams? You have people at your doorstep. I'm telling you, you're going to be booked for a year. Everybody asks me because they don't understand, because you, especially with the podcast, and I'm not shaming anybody, but you go on there and you see the top 50. All right, the top 10 you get. And then you see 30 and you go, how the fuck? You know, like there's no way. So without giving too much away, because, you know, we're going to get to how they can book you and have time with you and a lot of things you got great going on. What is it so many followers, so many streams, so many listeners? What's this crazy cocktail that they have?
So you got listeners, guys, you got followers, you got saves, right? And then you got the actual streams. And if you think about that, that's a perfect cocktail. And just like I was saying about how Google works and search engines, Spotify is a search engine. So whatever content that you're searching for and whatever type of podcast, you guys got to fit the description of what the popularity is looking like. So there's popularity signals, all right? If you're in Spain, you got to have the actual signals that trigger you to be in a Spain algorithm. So you know how people can be top 50 in one area and then 0 in another area. We have access, and like I said, you understand panels. That's one of the slickest ways to go ahead and to create your leverage in a certain industry. I just ran some campaigns with some guys that are over in Nigeria. The entire campaign is based off of Nigeria, the Nigeria playlist, Nigeria podcast, how long they're actually getting a podcast listened to. That's a part of it, right? So if a podcast is 40 minutes long, we can control whether you listen to it for 90 seconds or for the entire duration. All right. You got ways to go ahead and listen to the actual applications with advertisements. How do you find the actual playlist, right? Are you doing it through a search? Is it done through a playlist? Is it done through a Facebook, Instagram ad? So when you look at your metrics and your data, the goal for me is to speak to people that have access to that data. What I do in my industry is, guys, they have things that's called Spotify for Artists. We can actually check the weak points and the strong points of a campaign, and we can go ahead and fill it in like that, bro. It's like going to the gym and your upper body looks great, but your legs are tiny. I'm the guy that you come to as a personal trainer, and we figure out the calf raises and we figure out the squats and the lunges and the glutes. When you're looking at what's going on, the data will actually tell you the answers. All right. And then you get with a guy like me, and if you got a certain budget, you want to be able to go ahead and what we call inflate your actual statistics. You got to have some motion, but if you got some motion, we'll make it make sense. That's the way that I go viral, guys. Like, I understand that my audience is more men than females. So when I'm out here buying my leverage, I got to go ahead and buy more female campaigns. And if it's not a lot for me in the US, I know certain territories. It got to be New York. It got to be Cali. So even with the podcast space, man, it's a way to go ahead and influx what you guys are doing. Once you trigger that algorithm and hit the top 50, top 40, top 30, then you start to get that organic reach. And that's just how the game goes, man. It's the same exact way, guys, that things have been going as far as the Google system. Spotify works the same exact way.
Okay, so for an example, like I can't really put much on Apple because I'm in contract with Spotify. They don't give a shit what I say. You know what I mean? Now on Apple, I have friends and they use whoever to do whatever, and I'll look and they're number 10, but and maybe they gained, and just me from looking at it, maybe they gained 4,000 streams, 2,000 downloads, 1,000 followers, and somehow that put them in the top 10. Yeah. But now, for me on the outside, I would think, oh well, he had to have done 500,000 streams, gained so many followers, downloads, whatever. So like Apple is so loose, but when you go to Spotify, it fucks me up because I look at it and I see how Apple doesn't make any sense, because you would think it would be much more, but that whatever the cocktail is that gets you in the top 10 is not really much.
Gotcha.
So what I'm asking is, like, what is the key thing with both of them? You know, without giving to, like, is it the subscriber? Is it the follower that pushes you up to the chart? Is it the download? Is it the listener? Is it the stream? That's what everybody wants to know, but don't give too much because I want them to book you.
I got you. Well, I'll say, I'll say this 100%. It's the streams, and this is what this is the biggest sauce, right? You got free accounts, you got family plan, you got premium. The free means nothing, guys. It's like a weight system. All right. So if you got more free listeners than paid listeners, that's a bad thing. If the guys you're competing against are buying all premium plays, that's the setup that you're looking at. What I'm telling you is that in the actual distribution that I get, free plays get me a certain percentage from Spotify. Family plan gets me a certain percentage. Premium plays get me a certain percentage. So if I want to bully the algorithm, I'll spend my campaign on getting only the premium and spending the most on the streams, because the weight is different as well. It's like this. It's like Instagram, right?
Yeah.
If I got a bunch of verified accounts commenting on my post, it's going to go viral before, I take a bunch of bot accounts doing a bunch of emojis. So what I would do is that if I'm on Instagram, I would invest in an engagement campaign with people that are actually having influence, and I would spend the money to have those guys engage with my posts, because that weighs more. So if I get 20 comments from a profile like yours, that weighs more than having 20,000 comments from a bunch of bots that's putting a bunch of emojis. Same way that from the SEO world, right? They used to have what we call page rank, and I keep going to search engines. Page rank linked used to matter way more than getting a bunch of fucking links from Tumblr from empty web pages. So the weight comes from the applications or the actual paid accounts that are listening to your stuff. You got premium, you got family plan, you got free. If you got more free than you got premium, that's where the disparity is. So when you go ahead and control your promotions, make sure that you're targeting the highest quality. That's your premium, that's your streams, that's your listeners. That's the type of engagement that's going to push you over the top. What's working now for Apple, because you're like, look, Chad, it's not making sense. You got to look at the watch time. So if they do have less subscribers and less followers, how long are the people that they are watching actually engaging with their content? That matters. And that started off with YouTube. So these factors are coming from these guys all looking at each other, and engagement is a big, big formula. For what I'm doing right now on Instagram, guys, going viral, kid just left the halfway house, busting everybody ass right now. It's reshares, it's saves, likes, views, then comments. They know comments is very, very easy to game. It's much more difficult to create shares, and it's even more difficult to get people to save your content. If they're saving your content, that means you the shit. If they resharing your content, that means you the shit. Likes, views, and comments, guys, those days is over. So you got to be more intricate in what you're doing. You got to invest in your engagement.
So somebody could come to you with, say, an Apple podcast, do a meeting with you, you go over it, and you could get them to chart.
100%. I'm literally right here.
Monster.
I do my own campaigns too, right? So put it like this, right? We got iTunes, all right? iTunes, they have a database every day that a certain amount of downloads, you get the top spot, right? So SZA, Lil Durk, I think it's a country artist named Morgan. I can look at the data every day and be like, all right, so Morgan's doing 4,000 downloads. Okay. If I got a budget of $12,000, I can go ahead and do 4,001 download and be number one. So if you're looking at the database, we got chart metrics, we got Music Connect, we got databases that give us this information. If you call me and you give me access to your actual analytics, now I got an accurate view of what's going on. That's how we get the job done.
Wow. That's crazy, right?
Oh, shit.
And then, you know, you made $1 million with Spotify bots. We'll just say $1 million, but you and I both know more than that. But, you know, but so explain to everybody what a bot farm is. Because, you know, like I saw the Vice, very good. But, you know, explain what that is. Because people are bot farm and blah, 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 blah.
So the idea is this, right? Every device, man, that you guys get, man, let's put it like this. We pay for these devices. If you got a bot, guys, it's basically going to reenact a human action, all right? I can open up my phone right now and I can turn on Spotify and I can listen to a song for 30 seconds. That's one stream. That stream counts as 0.003 of a penny. If I get 100% ownership of whatever that stream was. If I have 1 million phones, guys, and I do that over and over again, that's going to turn into $3,500. How much would it cost for us to buy a bunch of cheap phones that will all have unique IP addresses and we hook them up to Spotify and listen to the same song? So you got to start thinking more about the ROI. What does it cost to build the system? There are streaming farms across the world where you have phones, you have computers, you have iPads. Each one of them have unique IP addresses. You can use what we call VPNs, guys, which can make it look like it's coming from a different area. It's hosted on its own server. And then you can use things that we call proxies, guys. So the entire part of automation and entire part of botting is about giving you something that's unique, an experience. How many times can you duplicate an iPhone and make it unique? And a bot allows you to do that over and over again. All right. That's where you get those different accounts from. Because Spotify has a platform that is based off of free, they make a lot of money off of what? Serving ads. So that's why they keep the actual setup free. It's about advertising. Everything I come from is advertising and marketing. The more money comes from when you got free ads, guys. When people pay premium and people pay family plan, you're paying to not be interrupted. So your shareholders don't make money without the free. That's why Spotify is the #1 organization in the world, because you can listen to the actual music for free, but the ads get served. So that's the whole entire business model. And I think people are understanding that. If you want to go ahead and create your own bots, you got to learn how to use infrastructures and software. There are softwares that will run your applications for you, or you can set it up manually. Now, like you said, Spotify and these guys have got extremely smart. So what that means is that you have to create what we call intervals, guys. You got to do things that look human-centric, right? Stuff that a human would do. Most humans don't listen to 50 songs back-to-back, 30 seconds, and then keep it moving. Sometimes you listen to a song for 42 seconds. Sometimes you listen to a song the entire time. What I would do is I would allow the songs to play the entire time, plus to listen to the ads and do it like a playlist. So the one thing I do know is that we come from the radio world. When the radio plays and you got your favorite radio station, it could play the entire day. So it's about as simple as it could be, guys. Let's make this simple. Learn to build your playlist and stop taking shortcuts. Your scale up comes from the devices, not from you building a system to game the system, because they can't say that it's unnatural for a person to turn on a playlist and never turn it off. But they can say it's unnatural for you to build a playlist with 100 songs that you listen to for 30 seconds. So you got to think like they think. You got to think like a human thinks, right? And you can outsmart we built these fucking bots, guys. Like, let's be realistic.
And explain what a proxy is. This podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy.
Now, look, a proxy is it's a part of an application, man, that allows you to, for me, change the actual the readings of what's going on for my devices, right? So my proxies allow me to have different IP addresses, just like the VPNs. All right. So not only do I use the proxies, guys, I use captchas. And so there's basically codes that solve different things that's going on with the applications so that it feels like it's an actual human. All right. We got cookies, we got pixels, we got proxies, we got IP. So these are different like protocols online, guys, that, you know, just technical shit that you're able to use and like see how you got the uniqueness of an interaction. So even for what we're doing right now, people that are watching your actual podcast, so that's going to see this show, they want to have different IP addresses and different access codes and proxies. And that's also the way that Netflix now looks at how many people are sharing an account, right? They're looking at locations and they're trying to make sure it makes sense. And that's why Netflix, man, just had a great quarter, because they like, look, we can track who's watching it based off of this TV, this code, this IP, and where the location is. And these people aren't a part of the family plan. So that's how they're cutting back based off of people sharing, you know, accounts and stuff like that.
Rob, pull up tab 2.
All right, got you.
Okay. And just by the way, this is where I found you. So, you know, shout out to Brandman Network.
You call it Brandman Network?
Yeah. I was just, you know, on YouTube, and I don't know what the hell I typed in, and I had just seen the Spotify thing, and because of these guys, I found you. So big shout out to them. You know, cool guys.
It went super viral.
Yeah.
And look, once I seen TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, I said, "Oh man, we about to have some shit, man. Time to get to work, guys."
Yeah, so I want to give a thanks to those guys. I want to found you, and I was excited all night to talk to you because I knew we talked the same language. You know what I mean?
I just have one question. I got one question for you. You guys, this Tommy spends like I don't know. He probably works 22 hours out of the day with all this type of stuff.
There you go.
And he really does. But what I wonder is, are you I don't want to say the word afraid, but what's your thought about like AI and all the stuff that's coming? Do you think it will eventually cut you off? Like the computer will be smarter than you and there'll be no way to do what you're doing? Or is that just a...
I'm gonna tell you this. I think it's a necessary evil. And if you hear what me and Tommy been talking about AI, I've been here. I think everybody else is just catching up. You know, we long accepted that AI was here, bro. For me, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing now, and I'm learning how to do all these prompts in this Chat GPT, and I'm also surrounding myself around people that are smarter than me. So certain things will never change. You know, make sure you invest in your education and surround yourself around people that are smarter than you, so you can stay ahead of the curve. So some of the kids that you see, like I said, man, these engineers, I make a phone call, and if I got a question, they'll take care of it. If I need help doing certain stuff, like I'm just, like I said, I'll be honest about it, guys. I'm only smart as the team that I built around me as well. So I love the AI. Like I said, I love where it's going at. I love like how easy it has made designing and coding and writing contracts and what we going to do, right? Other than get prepared for it.
Yeah, scroll
it's
down,
like COVID,
so
man.
Everybody can see who they are. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure everybody subscribe to them. They're cool. Get them going. Yeah, but
check out.
Chad, with the AI, you know, I think it's going to get crazy, but I think what they're showing us now, and I'm sure you would agree, this is peanuts. This Chat GPT, this is nothing. This is a joke. What they really got, and I can tell you what I know from, you know, other shit that's coming. This is nothing.
Yeah. This is lightweight. And I tell you this, right? Think about Elon Musk when he's like, "Yo, we're scared about where AI can go." Driving cars. What about flying cars? Yeah. Right? Think about the Amazon. They were trying to put out the drones to go ahead and like drop off the packages and stuff. So I just rather be prepared for it. More than anything, man, I'm scared for what our kids got to go through.
Yeah.
You know, because think about it, man. My son had a iPhone since he was like 4 years old. Like, how ridiculous is that? I didn't have a cell phone till I was 16, and it was a Nokia. Then I had a Nextel. Like
the Nextel Flip. The Nextel Flip walkie-talkie, right?
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, me and my boys in Philly, we thought, This is safe.
Yeah.
This is safe.
I had a sidekick.
Yeah, the sidekick. Yeah. My boy in Jersey had the sidekick. I had the next time I call out.
Loved it.
Come on, you bitch with the keyboard. You need the two-way, man. You know.
Exactly.
And you know, to your credit, you know, like I want to say, well, with these bots and these streams, you would take a nobody that you saw talent in, get them ranking, get them up, and then let them do their own thing. So you put people on the map that would have no shot, help them out. You know, of course, you'd make your money. But then once they got to where they were at, they didn't need you. They did it themselves, and you didn't go shake them down every 2 seconds. I just want to point that out when they read some craziness about you, because it's not true.
Yeah. Oh, you know, it's a blessing, man. Like I said, the documentary, like when you talk about a documentary, man, I got over 1,000 hours of footage that it would break your heart to see. What I did in Baltimore, man, is that I seen how violent it was where we were from, but I seen how many kids love the creative art. So I created a record label, man, just to give opportunities where I was from. And when you seen how much of an operation that I had, how much it supported the community, I'm like, yo, Chad Focus or more of me's that have these type of opportunities can save these people. Put a lot of kids in college because of the resources that we had, man. So I'm not just trying to figure out these systems for myself. You get what I'm saying? The less people that rely on you, the easier it is to enjoy your own life. Yeah. Nobody wants to be successful and their family is struggling, right? So that's why I really became who I became, man. I said, if I get in a position, bro, that I can help more people, then of course I'm gonna extremely be successful as a byproduct, right? And man, we had some great guys, man, that never got a chance to be on some of the stages that they love. And like I said, people forget, man. I got a song with T-Pain. His Dance With Me is absolutely amazing. I did records with Lil Mo. We had Fred the Godson before he passed away. Tate Cobain. Like I work with some great artists, and I've really given the game away to a lot of these guys. Outside of just, like I said, the marketing aspect, I preach ownership. So I'm the one guy that's like, man, you don't got to sign that terrible slave deal, man. Figure out your own contracts, educate yourself, learn how to do your own copyright, your own distribution, your sound exchange, your BMI, and get independent. And I'm telling the guys this, and then I wrote my own book. So I got my own independent hustlers guide to teach these people exactly what's going on. And then I built my own university because some people don't like to read. I went to prison, guys. The only way that you survive prison is occupying your time. I spent a lot of time in, solitary confinement because of COVID. So I kept my mind fresh. And prison is more of a mental battle than a physical battle. I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss my kids. It's time that I can never get back. So I value time more than anything. I'll make that $4 million back before the end of the year. That's lightweight. But as far as I can't ever get back the hairline I lost 2 years being stressed out in the shoot.
Yeah. No, you can't. No. Can you pull up tab 4 whenever you get a chance? So with the university, you're starting the university. It's coming, right?
Yeah, the university is already in pre-sale. It's already in motion, man. And it's a blessing.
Okay, so take us through this, Chad. Take us through this so everybody can see.
All right, cool. So basically what you guys are saying, that's just basically like my blog, right? People will come here, man, and they'll get themselves to the actually Calendly where they can go and book a call with Chad Focus. What I've been doing lately, man, it hasn't been just geared towards artists, man. I help people go viral. I help people with any type of marketing that they want. I think the dope part is that the music industry or the Chad Focus persona is like the driving force. It's like really interesting. Then you get on the phone and you're like, yo, this kid is an intellectual, man. He's genius in all types of industries, advertising, marketing, and business. Focus Music University is going to allow me to show people different applications, man, like SimilarWeb and how to use Social Blade and look at your growth as far as your social media platforms. I'm going to teach people ownership, right? So they got websites like Songvest and Royalty Exchange where our favorite artists can go and buy back ownership of their publishing and masters, or as the public, right? We got digital real estate. So I'm teaching people stuff, man, as far as financial literacy, how to build their own websites, how to do their own development, how to go ahead and do the outsourcing, how to navigate using Fiverr and engagement groups. And I think it's going to be really, really dope, man, because I've been spreading myself thin, man. Doing 300 consultations per month becomes a lot, taxing. I'm hoarse at the end of the day, right? Talking to so many people and running so many different campaigns. So I got the Focus Music Agency, guys. I do Focus Music Marketing, and it's a good time for me, man. And
you got a percentage off code if you sign up before the 4th. And look, if anybody doesn't believe this, I've had every fucking top doctor in the world. I mean, geniuses. You know what the fuck you're doing. You're worth every penny. or we wouldn't be having, or I wouldn't be promoting it, because then when I go to get somebody with 3 master's degrees way smarter than me, they're going to think I'm an idiot. You know what you're doing, and it's worth every, I'm just being real. You know what you're doing, and if you don't believe anything, look at the guys I had on. I'm telling you, this guy's the real deal. And if you're, and what I think it's like $500 or $600, you'll do more for them than the fucking ads that you're spending on Instagram, YouTube, whatever the hell it may be. And I mean that sincerely, not just because I'm talking to you.
Yeah, no, it's dope, man. I appreciate it, Tom. And what I do, man, is I basically help the people to understand like the ROI and what they're doing, right? So we build sales funnels, man. We build the back end systems, the email marketing, newsletters, like any and everything that you see I learned from corporate America, I kind of infuse it in what I do. And like you said, you're bringing on guys like your Grant Cardones and your Gary V's, and these guys have great teams, right? But they have teams that we most can't afford. So if you can go to Fiverr, man, and get you a copywriter and get somebody that's going to do your video editing and write some of your actual emails for you and work on your blog, like you can still build a 6-7 figure business affordably and do it within your own budget. So that's what Focus Music University is about. It's about, man, being able to go ahead and put yourself in power and to build your team, man, and scale up, man, and scale up based off of your budget. Make it possible, right?
And you're going to be teaching and consulting and all that. And you're not going to be one of these like speaker guys that goes and shakes you down. Don't get me started on these speakers.
You love those guys.
The speaker? Oh yeah. I love speakers.
Life coaches. Life coaches.
Yeah.
Coaches.
The life coach that the life coach that shakes you down for a couple grand and then goes and blows it up his nose or gambles it away and then says the same thing for the next 10 years.
Oh, they're life coaches.
Oh, life coaches. I forgot. Yeah. I forgot. Focus. Life coaches. Yeah. They take all my parking spots when I need a hotel room. I used to go back and forth from Philly, and I won't name his name just because of the situation I'm in. And every time, and I know this prick from Philly, and every time I would stop halfway, this guy would be sold out. And I know what he does. He's a shakedown. He's a fugazi as fugazi gets.
Does he live down the street here? Maybe
I don't know, but all I know is. Focus. I would get so pissed because I'd have no parking spot, and I knew he was just a dirtbag, But so the Focus University right now, if you get us what $600, pull it up again quick. $600, yeah, and what can somebody expect?
Hey, look, man, like I said, you can expect I'm gonna walk you step by step, man, how to set up your business. Man, we even start off, man, like I said, as simple as your LLCs, your contracts, your infrastructure. Man, we get into everything as far as how to go ahead and optimize, man.
For $600?
That's your YouTube, Instagram. Yeah, but let me tell you why I did that, right? There's so many people that look like myself that I had to try to make it reasonable, right? And so I know that I'm giving you 20, 30, 40 grand worth of value. My job is to over deliver and everything is going to take care of itself, right? So if I can get 10,000 people, man, to come in at $600, it's going to take care of itself, right? You understand what I'm saying? If the regular price goes back up, man, July 4th, that's going to be my Independence Day, guys. Should be around $1,400 to $1,500. I'll have back ends and upsells and high ticket. But for me, I'm trying to go ahead and over deliver. And I also want to go ahead and show people that I'm here to see them win. And I know that I'm who I am, right? I know that my skill set is first class and I'm also getting better at what I do. So I'm just trying to evolve, man. And look, Tommy, I also haven't started automating my social media or like my DMs. So I'm still connecting with some of my favorite artists, bro. Raphael Sadiq just hit me up the other day, and Kalina, and I just talked to Big Baby Blue, man, and I've met the Waka Flockas in the world. And like I said, I got song with T-Pain. So I'm still humbled by the fact that young dude from Baltimore, bro, and all these doors have opened up for me, and I got a second chance. And it's not, like I said, only about the money for me. Yeah, guys, I got a hefty restitution bill. But if I take care of my business and I do what I'm supposed to do, man, I'm going to live in abundance. And I'm going to be in a great space over the next couple of years. So I'm pacing myself, T. I'm staying humble, man. And I'm working extremely hard, bro. And I love the work. I love the grind, man.
And then you got the consultations, the county.
I just have one quick question.
Yeah.
How much money do people waste, do you think, in, like, not going to you, but like for Google ads or paying for Instagram or Facebook? Like, how much money do you think's wasted that it's not helping them, that's doing shit for them?
I'll tell you this. I think there's an aspect of trial and error that is like courageous. They like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're smart, you go find an expert in whatever field you're trying to do. right? And then you get that person to kind of coach you and bring you along. So if I wanted to come and become the next podcast, I'd be like, look, see, man, what's it cost to mentor? Or could I work for you? Could I intern? So for me, I see people with thousands and thousands of dollars. I get people that call me. I had a guy call me last week, man. He's like, yo, I just spent $1 million, man, producing all these hit records, and I don't got no streams, man. And I'm like, bro, how much money you spent on marketing? He's like, none. I'm like, so how much you got for this consultation? He's like, I'm broke. I'm like, this is unbelievable that you would call me and spent all this money producing music, and now you want to call me and get a discount on actually being able to market the music to get some return on that investment. So even the psychology and the mindset of some of these people is what's the hardest part to work around, guys. Yeah. They literally think that a consultant's supposed to hold their hand, and they don't realize that's a mentor, that's a coach, that's a higher level of engagement, of accountability. So you got some really, really good people that are willing to invest in themselves, man, and they understand the value, and they understand the value of your time. And you got some people, man, that been who they always been, bro, wanting a shortcut, man, and trying to figure out a way, bro, to take the easiest route to success. And we all know it doesn't work like that.
And then on the 30-minute, 60-minute, or whatever, where you don't have a voice left at the end of the day, say somebody comes in and they go, all right, we want to try you out, 30 minutes. What can they expect in that 30 minutes?
So look, in that 30 minutes, man, we're literally going to break down exactly, man, how to go ahead and make $10,000 the fastest as possible. I think for me, 90% of these calls are like, look, Chad, I got a product, I need exposure. My job is to be like, look, guys, this is the resources that you use. What does your budget look like for you to get the reach that you want? You want 20,000 views, you want 1 million views. What does the product look like? What does the editing look like and the presentation? So we make sure that we can kind of optimize what they're doing. And my job is the audit, guys. My job is to optimize, reverse engineer what makes sense. We'll do a competitor analyst. And then 30 minutes, you're going to be like, look, I got a game plan, I got a strategy. If you sit down for an hour, we'll build out your entire strategy plan. If somebody's looking to retain us, man, the retainment is anywhere between $2,500 and $10,000 per month. They want to join the university, they'll have access to me, man, at all times. I got my own dedicated phone number, social media, and my own team that'll come and work with the people. And like, my job is to support the guys, man. I'm also too, Tommy, like I said, a really, really great reseller, man. So if they want ads, if they want TV spots, man, they want blog advertisements, I've locked in and partnered guys with some of the best in the actual industry. So I'll make sure I lead you the right way. And I don't refer you to anybody that I haven't used myself. I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of life coaches or people that are referring services is ones they haven't used before. If I'm using that protein, guys, and this got me strong, I'm going to make sure I refer you guys to the same protein. I won't tell you to use Weight Watchers if I'm not using it.
So, you know, not to completely switch subjects, but I'm curious to get your opinion. So on the, say like not whether you're left, right, blue, it doesn't matter. In 2024, you know they're going to use something, right? Because you know that's just how it's going to be. They can't use the boxes. They can't use this because everybody's looking. What do you think they do to rig it their way? You know they're going to rig it their way. How do you think they'll go about it?
If you're familiar, what was it, 2016? It was Hillary Clinton and Trump, right, with the proxies from Russia. Yeah. Right? And they was like saying all types of wild stories.
But it was never even from Russia. Russia even never even had anything to do with it.
There you go. So when me and you talk about proxies, being able to change the IP addresses and make it look like it was Russia when it wasn't. Come on, man. Yep. Think about this. I was at a financial news company. So our job was to take Donald Trump stories and write stories that weren't true to even make it good for him or bad for him, and then to go ahead and profit off of the traffic, even with Hillary Clinton. So they're going to have enough budget, bro, to do smear campaigns. And we see that Facebook and those places now are like talking about they're doing what is it called, man? They're quality control checking. Yeah. These guys are going to get to the place that they're going to use influencer marketing at an all-time high, which is to pay the biggest Republicans to go online and say the craziest things. And that's, for me, if I was to come and be a part of a presidential campaign, I'd be like, yo, give me $100 million budget. We're going to find all the guys that support you, and we're going to go ahead and brainwash their fan base. About as simple as it can get. It's like this, right? Think about Fashion Nova and like a Kim Kardashian like endorsement. Kim Kardashian says like something in this law. So if you got a book that you want to get a fucking endorsement, you give it to Kim Kardashian. You got a brand new high heel, a T-shirt, you got some jewelry. So that same aspect of what we seen became big with the Fire Festival of a kid promoting a concert out in Bahamas that was never supposed to happen. That was the biggest influencer marketing campaign we seen at that time period. I think the next presidential election is going to be the biggest influencer manipulation we've ever seen before. They will be taking dollars left and right, you know, and when you seen stuff like how Trump was pulling certain people and certain figures strategically to come and do photo ops with him, I think it's only going to get bigger and better. And now what he's going through, the people that stand by him now, it's going to be super polarizing because he's got a lot of shit that he's dealing with, and so does the left. So whoever stands by whoever, bro, it's going to be vitriol out here, man. It's going to be crazy, bro.
And you know what's funny is that they're going to spend all now that I didn't even think of the proxy. I didn't even think of that. So now that they're going to they'll spend $1 gazillion on, bashing and commercials when really they could just hire you. Like, I'm being dead serious. If they had half a brain, they would hire a guy like you for $100 million, and they got fucking $500 million between the hedge funds and everybody else. Hire
Bloomberg.
a guy, yeah, $2,000 for an email a month. But they could hire a guy like you, and you could totally change it all, and there's not a damn thing they could do.
Not a thing you could do about it, man.
Wow, I never even thought about that. I'm gonna have to tell a couple of my friends this shit. For real.
I put it like this, right? When I seen Bloomberg run for office, right, and he wasted all of that money, it wasn't a waste to me. It was calculated loss.
Calculated.
Like he's just in there to build up his brand and to kind of like make the super PAC or some type of like amazing tax break. There's no way somebody with that kind of like capital should ever lose the way that he lost. So for me, whoever has the most money and has the best strategy shall win. We all know it's going to be issues with the votes and the counts and all that other good stuff. Your job is to make somebody not like the other candidate. I think that's one thing that Obama did really well is that he played the likable card, right? Made black people, white people, Puerto Rican, Asians, Muslims, everybody liked him more than they liked McCain, right? And I think that whoever can figure out how to get their other opponent to be hated more than them, that's where we're going at, right? That's going to be the game plan. So let's see how you strategically do that with all of this quality control.
Focus. You could swing on an election. You could. Now that I'm thinking about all the things you use, he could swing. You could swing it. I'm talking. You could swing an election. You really could. No, I'd put money on it. I'd put money on it. I never thought about that. That threw me back a little bit. Sorry.
He may disappear somehow. We won't see him.
Oh,
yeah. You never know.
Yeah, no. When I could fly him in and he doesn't open a bottle of water, I'll be like, yes. We've had probably 8 or 9 people in. And at first I'd be like, damn, you're going to talk for 3 hours? And they would not open a bottle of water. 3 hours in, they tried to kill me. And the first time, me and him were like, what? You're just like some tech guy in front of the Senate. Then it was like 1, 2, 3. And I would look and I wait an hour in and I go, they don't work for QVC. And I'm like, there is no way that they don't need a drink right now. But they wouldn't open the. And I would just be waiting for them to say, or if they wouldn't, I'd be like, so when did they try to kill you? Like,
100%.
That's how crazy it is.
I put it like this too, man. You're from Philly, man. Like I said, we from Baltimore. I've seen crazier things than social media drama, people threatening all this other stuff, bro. It's like, it come with the territory, man. I went to prison famous, and not regular famous. I went to prison like all over the world, social media, 2021 type famous. And I'm a man's man, and I give respect, I demand respect, and I think that people know that I'm a genuine dude, and I just want the best for everybody, to be honest with you. And I think the thing about it too, Tommy, I don't know what lane I'm going in next, bro. I just enjoy what I do as a strategist, bro. I love the marketing, bro. I love the competition. And that's what it really is for me. I think that it's not just a Spotify or a Google thing, man. It's like I love systems, bro. I love technology. I'm open for the next biggest challenge, man. So I'm having a good time, bro. I'm free. I'm home, man. I got to have a blessed week with my family. My kids graduated last week. And like I said, even with the stuff that I'm dealing with as far as like some of the losses in the family, that's a part of life. I can tell you this, when I was in prison and Michael K. Williams passed away, I wasn't able to grieve. That was my homeboy, and we did the Vice TV project together. So just being home, bro, and being able to grieve, man, and give condolences and hold and love your family, bro. I don't even take that for granted, bro. And I live every day like it's my last, Tommy, man. I'm blessed today. If I don't see tomorrow, man, I lived an amazing 35 years.
Pull up tab 3. Why? I'm going to ask you about something else and go back. So, like, I like Creed, a Creed cologne. And, and they have, the batches and all that other stuff. So with that, is that really that they don't have the batches needed to ferment, or is that just the same thing as always to spike the price to $1,000 for a Falcon? You know what Creed is, obviously. Yeah. Is that just the whole marketing thing too?
100%, man. 100%,
Son
bro.
of a bitch, and I fell for that one too.
But you know what it is though? For me and you, we gonna question everything. So we're not gonna take shit for face value. And that's like more guys like me and yourself got a platform. We make everybody start questioning everything. And so they hoping they limit our reach.
We got up how people can, you know, hire you for 30 minutes, hour. Wanted to make sure we get this up, this stupid Zoom thing. So this is where you can do it. And I want to make sure everybody sees it, because if you're just like on the hook, 30 minutes will be worth it, man. Because he just taught me.
Yeah.
He just taught me about the damn proxy thing. Fuck, I didn't even think of that.
I'm gonna tell you this, right? I told a dude the other day, he said, bro, is this worth it? I said, look, if I tell you something on this call that you never heard before, you pay me double. If I tell you something, bro, and you like, Chad, I heard it all, I'll refund you during the call. Within the first 5 minutes, bro, I had showed him like a back office. He was like, bro, I'm sold, man. So my job, bro, it keeps me on my toes, man. I learn some new shit every day on these calls too, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Right now, I have people building me. They want me to build them systems to help them get streams on their Hulu projects that they own. Hulu is based off of, like you said, advertisement in the Netflix. So can I help trigger the algorithm that gets you to be top 10 with Netflix? Wow. What I think is that Netflix has its own internal systems, which you could never crack the top 10 without having somebody on the inside. So either I'm going to try to crack it from the outside, or I'm going to find somebody on the inside. There's only 2 ways. And those 2 ways are getting it done, right? That's it.
And where did you get all this drive from? I mean, obviously you have the intelligence, extremely, your IQ's through the roof. But where did you get the drive? You know, like Kobe Bryant was my favorite. Your dad?
Yeah, man. My dad, man, is an entrepreneur, bro. My mom was a nurse 35 years. I watched her bust her ass, Sinai Hospital, John Hopkins, taking care of the people. They actually they fired my mom before she could retire because her back gave out. So I watched like how somebody could be so dedicated to their job, right? And do everything they could for people. So my mom's one of the nicest people in the world, very religious. And then Tommy, my pops, man, and my stepdad, they like, my stepdad's the technical side. My father's the entrepreneur. He's had physical therapy businesses, construction offices. He's always employed any and everybody. That was the first job I ever had. It's actually the job that I've worked when I was on probation. So he's always been like the rock that has helped any and everybody. And he's also the third person that had to fire everybody. So he's the one that's going to give you your first job, and also the one that's going to go ahead and fire you from your first job, right? So he's dealt with that type of life where people love you or they hate you at one moment and still had to be humble enough to know it's your position to give them that right. So I told my brother this, man. I'll tell you this. I said, love is when you love somebody, you are vulnerable enough to give them the right to be let down. So that's what love is to me, right? So as a parent, as a friend, if you take a chance on somebody, you love them enough to know that it might not go right, and you're willing to deal with the consequences because they're going to literally blame you.
So in other words, you were raised old school like we were. Like we were raised, hey, you want an allowance? You're going to go to work. Yep. That's how it's going to be. When it's 8, you know, you want to play football, you're going to finish every game. No, you're not. You're not. Summer? No, it's not summer. Summer's time to practice. And so you were raised old school like we were, you know.
He never gave me anything, bro. My parents were Jehovah's Witness too, so I never celebrated holidays. I didn't believe in Santa Claus. I wasn't, big on, being engaged in that stuff, bro. I worked for everything I got, right? And even when I went to college, man, I went to a Division III college. I had to go ahead and pay half of my tuition. I had to work while I was in school. I was the most popular kid, and I had to maintain my GPA and be the best player on the team. So everything that I was doing, it was about being able to multitask at the highest levels. You know how some people say, don't be a jack of all trades? My father was like, bro, you better be a beast of all trades. What you do.
Facts, right? True. Yeah, I mean, that's what he teaches his sons, and I just had a little daughter, which I knew I was going to have a daughter. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that, When me and my brother were trying to hit Jerry Rice's, Reggie White 99, we were trying to see who could hit 99 first. The mother of my child, I said, you don't even need to check. I guarantee you it's going to be a fucking girl. You know what I mean?
That's your payback.
Yeah, look at your phone. I sent you the background that we have up. Rob has it put up at this dumb Zoom thing. And here you are. I mean, you have a billboard, like a humongous billboard that says Chad Focus streaming now. You got Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. I don't know if you can see it on your phone if it came through. But
hey, look,
can you see that?
Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I can't see the background. I just see you right now.
No, I mean on your phone. I texted it to you.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, I just want you to see what we're talking about. But how about that, Rob?
That's pretty.
I mean, that's no joke to be on that level.
So look, is that the one that was in New York City, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have on the screen.
So I'll explain this to you, right? And this is why this was dope. All right, this is when Trump was going through a lot of stuff, and they were like, "Does he like black people, white people, whatever?" I said, "How polarizing would it be for a young black guy in a suit to go up there and then put his face all over the biggest building in New York?" So it was like Citibank. And then I had 7th Avenue, so it was like another like version of myself. And so people were just looking at it like some type of like flex. And I'm like, bro, this is about power. Like, this is a power play. I know somebody that Trump knows. Like, I can make a phone call and have some of the biggest real estate in New York City, guys. And imagine if this was Jay-Z or somebody else. Would you pay it attention? It's a young black guy, and I'm going through what you call an identity crisis. Should I be Chad Focus? Should I be Chad Arrington? Which one is good enough? So all of us internally go through that, right? Trying to figure out who we should be on a day-to-day basis. Should I be a father today? Should I be a boyfriend, or uncle, or cousin? Like, I went through a lot of that stuff in front of everybody. This is the funny thing about advertisement. Because I paid for things on what we call fire sale, which is going to be some inside information, guys. Everything that I've ever purchased has been on some type of fire sale or some type of like Black Friday. In advertising space, there's 1 day per month that if you get you an actual agent and they're really good, they will get you the best deal per month. So I've always negotiated very well. Those billboards you see are probably worth like $200,000 today. I got that billboard for $30,000.
Wow.
Because nobody else could secure the contract, my billboard stayed up for free another 6 months after that.
Wow.
So you always need to have somebody on the inside that loves you, that wants to give you the game. I also date very well. So I had sex with the right young lady who was working at Clear Channel, who loved me more than her father hated me, and he gave me the inside scoop on how to get access to what was going on.
Oh, you're having all girls too.
Channel,
you're having all girls too, pal.
You can buy certain stuff in escrow accounts, guys. Clear Channel owned iHeartRadio. For me to successfully get on radio without triggering the payola, which was illegal, I paid for advertisement. So when you guys see how advertising works and how music and branding and entertainment is all intertwined, not only that, and this is like the wildest shit because I don't advertise any longer. The money you put on escrow accounts after 90 days, you can ask for a refund. They can't refund back to the same account. They got to cut you a check. So I was able to go ahead and in my wild young days, guys, back when Chad Focus was a little wild, I was able to clean money legally, guys. So, you know.
But it's just honorable that you came from Baltimore and there you are. That's not a small billboard there, pal.
Pretty damn big.
That's pretty damn. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty big.
I mean, come on. I mean, that's an impressive shit right there. I mean, you know, it's just a powerful thing to show that it can be done, and you did it, man. And congratulations, man. That's big shit. I saw that and go, God damn. I mean, is that Ellen right there? She's making about $1 billion.
We drove the megabus.
You got bigger than Ellen. Hey, you got bigger than Ellen up there. He's bigger than Ellen up there.
She's in a small little thing over there.
She got a little corner fucking peanut one. Is that? Yeah, that's her.
I don't know.
Well, whoever that is, you're crushing her. He's got the whole building.
Yeah, Jay-Z and Beyonce had one there too. And what I was telling the guys is I was like, I should be the advertiser for some of these billionaires because I know that the agencies they're working with, they don't have their best interest. They're literally working with these guys for a commission where I would go and like, you know, Tommy, when I walked into the building to get an ad, they like, this kid doesn't have a budget. I'm like, I want the biggest one you got in Times Square. They like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, I'll put it on my Amex tomorrow, send me the invoice. And I walked out the building and the next day was paid in full with a little extra. So, you know.
Real quick, you know, you're talking about social media, different avenues of advertising. How much do you think, you know, you go back to the Trump years when you had the Black Lives Matter movement and there was so much fighting, you know, and still it's, you know, like everything, people are at each other's throats and this is racist and you're racist and that guy's racist and this and that. How much of it do you think, though, was paid for, like to purposely start the arguments between races or people?
Manipulation?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. All of it, bro. Like I try to tell you, you know, some of my best friends, man, are white guys, man. And what I seen is like when the George Floyd situation happened, it put like we all got group chats, right? I got group chats with guys I went to college with, right? And to me, it wasn't no question that man got killed by the cops. For us to be in a group chat debating if they were going to take away guns and whatnot, I was like, oh, okay. This is the kind of like controversy that separates people, where we forget to be human, right? Like, Tommy, you got kids, I got kids, you got kids. I would really be hurt if something happened to your children. It wouldn't matter if they were black and white. So I think that they've done a good job of us forgetting what we do have as similarities and helping us focus more on what we have as far as differences. And that is perfect marketing, right? That is a classist way to type of move things, right? If you have and then we don't have. So the world is have-nots, man, versus the haves, guys. That's why the Republicans versus the Democrats, it's been tough. I'm not a Republican, right? I understand how democracy works, man, and how certain access works for people in my community, but I also understand what it does to the mindset long term, when you just give people certain stuff, bro. You make them dependent on, a system. So that's how I feel, man. I feel like it's manipulation. I feel like it's propaganda. Even for me, when I went to prison, it's like, yo, look at this ignorant kid that stole $4 million to buy a billboard in New York City. Like, bro, I helped build $1 billion organization. These guys never compensated me. The FTC is investigating them, and I'm a fall guy. That's not what the media is going to say. So I spent 4 years, man, like I said, building myself up and getting prepared for these moments that we're sitting at right now. I could have tucked my tail and I could have went ahead and faded into the, the sunset. And I was willing to stand the test of time, bro. And so I'm an honorable guy, but propaganda, man. Why would you want a young black guy, bro, that understands ownership, man, to come and have a platform, to have a voice, to inspire other people? You would not want that, bro. You would want it to be the other way around. You would want this guy to go to prison and be locked up where all criminals and people should be, man. So even for that respect, guys, I think that it's tough because the media has a responsibility to, scare the people. And if you don't put fear into the people, you can't profit off of it. If people aren't sick, you don't need doctors.
Is there a way you think, it's like perfect world, right? There is no perfect world, but is there a way that can be changed or maybe made better, or you just think we're in for a long haul ahead?
No, man, I think that it's going to always how can I say it, right? The presidential elections, right? It was like 50-50 on the popular vote, right? I think the world will always have that half and half. I think that's the type of balance in life that we're looking at. I think half the people good, half the people bad. I'm just being honest with you guys, numbers wise. Yeah. It will always be this way, right? Until more people start to acquire media platforms. So I think 2 days ago, Tyler Perry just acquired BET and VH1, right? How huge is that for an African-American to own black entertainment television, right? Just like it would be huge for a Jewish person to own a Jewish organization, or for a Spanish person to own a Spanish channel, or, so forth and so on. So when the people from your culture have access to the media and the actual platforms that we actually retain information from, I think that balances it out as well. So as more people in position, especially in the minority space, get access to more media that they can control and give the information to their people, I think we'll balance out a lot more of these narratives and a lot more of what you see going on out here.
But Focus, I still think, even though they buy BET and VH1, they do not put out things to give the African Americans drive. They don't put out things to make people want to get up and go be somebody, whatever. You know what they do? They put out these dumb shows that just make them think that smoking weed all day and selling coke on the corner is cool. I don't think they do anything. They have the opportunity to, but they don't. I don't see it. I see a lot. I see guys like yourself and like Jesse Lee Peterson, older man, but I mean he threw Amber Rose off his show, but I don't see it when they come in and they buy this and they got a good reputation. I still say they're all about the dollar. Even Tyler Perry, I like his shows, but he's not going to do anything for the black community, or he would have done it already, in my opinion.
Well, I look, and like I said, I respect the opinion. And I'll say like this, man. First, for me, it's like I say, man, even when Obama became president, bro, some of the stuff, bro, is for a motivational like lift up, right? To see somebody doing something that looks like you that's never been done before. That's inspiring for certain people, bro. And for me too, Tommy, I wouldn't have went to college, man. I didn't just go to college for me, bro. I went to college to inspire the guys that where I was coming from. Like, look, man, so all of my brothers went to college after me, bro. We're gonna set a standard, all right? You see me leave the neighborhood, you see me go ahead and do this, guys, go play ball, go become a student, man, and spread my wings. This can hopefully inspire you. Now, and I can't change everything, but I can do my part, right? And so as far as that media, if I was in position, man, I would be out here bidding on the CNN and those type of platforms, bro. Think about it. The young black guy, Byron Allen, owns the Weather Channel, right? It's certain guys that are making power plays behind the scenes, right? Look at Jay-Z and what he's doing with the NFL, man, and out here trying to, like, you know, raise the awareness, man, and bring some cultural diversity, what's going on. The NFL, man, is still a good old boys league, right? And the most popular sports league has no black owners. So ownership, man, is something that we still trying to crack the code of. There's not a lot of positions. We're still waiting to have some ownership positions in the places that are most important. You want to see people that look like yourself. You get what I'm saying? And like, that's just real, man. Even like for this platform, right? There's some huge black influencers that need to have shared focus on their platform. Right now, you give me opportunity, so I appreciate it. I hope they reach out. I hope that we're not just on the entertainment aspect. I hope they don't just want me to come and talk about, you know, the philanderous things that we did, right? And I can talk about, you know what I'm saying, the technology and the ideas. So that's all we're trying to figure out, T, man. Like I said, bro, it's no one fix. It's no one answer. I think that I'm going to try to stay progressive. I think that there are a lot of people that are trying to do, but need more access. We need more ownership, bro. And that's going to be a long road, bro. We also coming from, man, 400 years behind, bro. So we got some ground to make up. You got a lot of ground to make up. And I think that are some good people, man, that's going to be on the forefront of doing a lot better. And we'll see where it goes in the future.
Yeah, I wanted to pick your brain. I don't give a shit about all the hoopla, blah, 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 blah. That's all media shit. I wanted to pick your brain. And that's exactly what we're doing, you know? And, you know, getting back to those shit, we've had a couple guys in here that were great artists. They come in, and I know you'll bury this one. They come in, they sign a deal, and I'm saying good. I mean, Chris Brown's my favorite guy, even though he won't come in. One day I'll get his ass in. But, you know, I mean, that one guy, we had this one, he could sing just like Chris Brown. Not dance like him, but he could sing close to Chris Brown. Chris Brown's the beast to me. He's the GOAT to me. But he signed some deal, some 360 bullshit. Now, this is a kid from, you know, lower class Florida. They give him $50K. So to him, $50K, man, you know, I can get a car, I get, you know, some Jordans, whatever. He, about 9 months later, broke as a joke. And everything he did, they took, and he was hooked for 5 albums or whatever before he could get out of it. So when you see these artists sign these deals and they get crushed, what are some things that, when they're going into that these artists don't realize, or the reality of it that they don't realize?
I'll put it like this, right? Back in the day, guys, we didn't have the education and we didn't have the resources to get the information. This is why guys like myself are so important. Brand Man Networks, Jens the Guru, just to speak about my industry, guys, and Rap Coalition, Wendy Days. The information is out here for you, right? Like if you find a Brand Man Network just looking at a Spotify video, that means that anybody else could go ahead and creep up on that same information. The way the industry was set up, man, is it was set up to be broken, and it was set up to be ownership. And the way that it is, guys, is not going to change unless you educate yourself and create the leverage. An advance is a horrible loan. You're signing away your rights, usually in perpetuity, and also your likeness. So it's the instant gratification. And when you're coming from nothing, bro, anything is better than nothing, right? So a lot of these guys, man, are looking at an opportunity to get a way out. They aren't planning for years ahead, because most of these guys are living day to day, T. For me, myself, bro, like I said, I was blessed, bro, to have insight. I was blessed to see for today, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. The education I want to give you guys is that, you got to get into reading your contracts. You got to get into understanding your data. And you got to get into understanding, man, your analytics and what your true value is, right? And that's what we all got to do. As far as how the industry works on my regard, bro, once you build up your catalog, you build up your leverage, you build up your following, now you can negotiate what's going on, bro. And now they got to go ahead and deal with you at a different type of way. One of the best artists to do this, guys, a young kid named Russ. I went and think he had an Atlantic deal, and he went independent. He still owns all his masters and stuff like that. For this kid that took that $50,000, like you're saying, signed away his ownership, he got put in this terrible situation. It's got to be more guys that come out here, man, and speak about those deals, that do the interviews like you said, and be like, look, bro, you need somebody in your corner. We need more mentorship. And you got to understand that you need leverage that makes sense. Are these guys giving you credit? Are they helping you build your personal and business credit? Are they helping you get an LLC? So what are you asking for, right? Do you understand the conversations? Do you understand what you should negotiate? As far as like having some legal issues, right? Why not go online and research how to do the contracts and look at What are concessions and clauses? So that's, for me, it's the responsibility, T. And I do a lot of interviews now to tell the artists, like, look, man, come and find a guy like myself, bro. We'll break down to you, man, ownership and infrastructure, publishing and masters, mechanical and performing rights. There is resources out here. There's free YouTube channels, man. There's a lot of things that you can find on Google. There's guys on Instagram each and every day. Before you make a decision that could be permanent, right? Come out here and do the homework, man. And that's for all of us, bro. It's like getting married, man, and signing that contract. We all know how that go, man. That's the contract, bro. So are you getting a prenup? How many guys do we see nowadays that still refuse to go get a prenup? You know better, you do better, and they still don't do better, right?
And we had, remember, we had this girl on, she's going to kill me. I forget her name. And I fought with her before I read about you and studied how you did things. Remember, I fought about her about being independent? Cassie, yeah, this artist Cassie, and she was with, somebody was helping her that we had in, I forget, been people. And I sat here for 30 minutes, and I go, look, if you're with the label, they're going to market. Okay, for a year or two, you don't make any money, but they're going to put you on the platform. Then I read about your everything with you. And now but if you don't have money, then how do you make it independent versus a major label, but you have talent?
Yeah. So here you go, right? Just because you don't got money don't mean you don't got resources. So all right, put it like this, Tommy. How much does it cost to fix your personal credit? Maybe a couple $1,000s over the 6 and 12 months. Right. All right, now you got your personal credit, got a 700, 750 credit score, right? How much does it cost to get your LLC? It's about sacrifice, bro. Personal credit, business credit. Now you out here got access to funding, 50 grand, 100 grand, $150,000. What we're not having a conversation about is financial literacy and also the access to actual resources like this, bro, as well, online, man. You can get trade lines. You can go ahead and link up with people in your family, bro. You got a Self app, guys. You got Chime. You got all these different applications that you can sign up and build your credit. You could be paying for your Netflix through a credit account to build up your actual credit profile over the course of a year, guys. Same money that you spend on the trip. Gucci belt, sneakers, Jordans. You can invest in a consultation with the right person that can give you the direction you need financially. All of the artists, man, should first and foremost set up their ownership, create an LLC, sign themselves. Now you got a layer of protection. The next thing you need to figure out is your funding. Do I got a job? What my credit look like? What my business credit look like? And what kind of support can I have? And then you go out there and you take care of the work. Guys, all you need is a cell phone. You can do all your acapellas, your music videos. You got CapCut. You got Zoom, you got Google Meet. This is a resource, man. How many people's inboxes are you in? Everybody that I've met over the last 3 months, guys, has been in the DMs. I spend more time replying to comments than most people I know. Some people have too much of an ego and pride. Some people that aren't even as rich as me, bro, are hiring people to answer their comments and emails. When do you feel like you're too good to go ahead and interact with people? So artists ask me all the time, bro, I provide services, all right? At the end of the day, how can I help you? I build websites. All right. If I don't know how to build websites, I'll get $1,000 from you and I'll find somebody else to build it for $500. So I've learned how to go ahead, bro, and be versatile in what I do, bro. Understand that part, man. What kind of services can I provide for you? Do you need somebody to write a blog? Do you need somebody to go ahead and build a picture for you, do a flyer, do a copy, do a cover art? How can I link you with other people, right? So I enjoy the guys that figure out a way versus the people that say there are no way. Looking at a guy like myself, the biggest person that we have as an executive where I'm from, Kevin Lyles. I got major love for Kevin Lyles. He got 300 Entertainment. He started with Liar Cohen, right?
Yeah, when we had Russell Simmons in, he brought him up about 10,000 times.
Me and his mom grew up on the same street. I never met Kevin before in my life, bro. We never had a conversation. Because he's right there, bro, and I see a multi-million-dollar super successful guy in the industry, do I stop going? Have I used that as an excuse? Don't you think that I could be an executive with 300? Don't you think I'm a local kid that's doing things in my community that I would love to link up with a big homie from where I'm from? That's just not the place and time. We'll meet there when we get there. And I'm going to go ahead and keep trying to reach for him. So that's what I do, bro. And I'm not all the way where I want to be at. So I'm still building. I'm still learning, bro. I'm still taking my knocks. And I'm still trying, Tom.
And where would you recommend it? Because that's the whole thing. So many, that's great. You know, you build your credit so that you can go hire a guy like yourself. But where do they go? Because they don't know where to go. They go to some credit thing. They spend the $300 that they have and nothing happens. Where's a good place to go to build their credit up where they can get a credit card with 10 grand on or something like that?
Man, first and
there's
foremost,
so much
like
scams out there.
The information, man, is online, bro. You can build your own credit, bro. They got the actual dispute letters for you guys to do, man. You can go ahead on YouTube right now, guys, and put the top 10 free ways to build your credit. all of the content will show up. You don't have to just pay somebody. Go ahead and do your homework, right? Like I said, even for myself, bro, becoming the guy that I became, I figured out the SMM panels, bro. I figured out what resources to use. You know, I did my research. You know, I got my own Spotify accounts. I bought my own cell phones. Before I could afford an iPhone, bro, I bought a Samsung for $10. I got a track phone. Before I could get T-Mobile, before I had a business account, like, it's things that you do, bro. Before I could afford a WordPress website, I was with WordPress.org. Like, I have enjoyed taking steps, bro, and learning, right? And teaching myself what I could when I could afford it. Also, you got jobs, bro. How many people that you're speaking to, Tommy, are driving 20 hours a day Uber, DoorDash? You get what I'm saying? How many people are willing to go ahead and be that humble? Work at McDonald's, work at Marshall's, work at Foot Locker, work at Walmart. Guys, I'm a federal convicted felon. You know the jobs that I can work when I come out of prison? Whatever they told me I could work. It wasn't optional, guys. Got to go to mental health. You got to go work this job for $15 an hour. You got to answer to a PO. I could use all those things as things that held me back, or those could be hurdles that right now I'm getting around, and I'm still out here busting people's ass that been out here free the entire time. So I'm not allowing, you know, nothing to hold me back, bro. I'm not allowing any boundaries to go ahead and stand in front of me. And I think that mentality, Tommy, is going to help people out, bro. It's not a matter of how, bro. It's a matter of, like, what you going to do, bro, to figure out the way to get it done.
That's great advice, man. And I saw you mention with on the Vice thing, like J. Cole, he was complaining, he was saying about how, you know, whoever was using bots, and he didn't even know that they were using bots for him. So for instance, Drake could come out with the shittiest song ever, and they're going to push it up to #1 because then it gets rotation on the radio or on the streaming formats or whatever. So they're using it everywhere, and sometimes the artist knows, sometimes the artist doesn't know, right?
Well, they got vested interest, man, in the artist being successful, because you got to understand these are. It's an investment community, right? So put it like this, bro. If Sony owns Spotify, all the artists that are on Sony should be successful on Spotify because they own the masters of these artists. They own the actual publishing. So if they do well and they can game the system, it's going to benefit everybody, right? If I'm not signed to Sony and Chad Focus has figured out a way to make 70 grand from Spotify, and they're also doing this for their artists, now I'm fucking up the system. It's no benefit to allow me to game the system because they don't benefit from me doing so, right? So if you're looking at your artists, man, like I said, Drake's, man, and Futures and Taylor Swift's big artists, right? Taylor Swift didn't even own her own masters, guys, or publishing, right? Like Scooter Braun owned it, and she had to re-record all of her music. So what that means is that she doesn't even know how she became famous. She don't know what radio people they talk to, what DJs got her music early on, what playlists were paid. All of these different things you're looking at. She just woke up one day and she's Taylor Swift. But behind the scenes, there was a lot of bells and whistles that were being taken care of for these people, man. So that's what the thing about it is, being an artist, right? Independent. Yeah,
they pushed her up. Bro, they pushed her up.
I call it editorial playlist, guys, man. I got to do my own systems. I got to spend that money directly. Wow. So my job is to be responsible for the build of Chad Focus. I took the call that got me on this actual platform today. It's not a middleman. It's not somebody that went and charged the guy or did some other funny business. I'm direct to the consumer. I'm direct to my business. And that's the way that I got to get it done from right now.
I hate those layers. I hate the layers, man.
You know who you know who we have to introduce him to?
Who?
Do you remember when we had that Kalen Chase on? Remember?
From
Happy, the song Happy. He played the guitar in here.
What band? What group was he from?
So we had a guy on here. He used to be.
I need to set you up.
Yeah, he's good. He used to be backup vocalist and guitarist for Korn. You know, the heavy metal rock band. But he's not doing heavy metal rock anymore. He's doing like more like beautiful music, acoustic guitar.
Forget about it.
So good, so good. And me and Tommy are like, how the fuck is this guy not on top Billboard? This song is fucking amazing. You got to talk to him.
I'm gonna send him to you. Know, I sat here and he did it live.
Oh my god!
Whether you like that kind of music, we had chills live, and I was like, bro, I'll put money on the table. You're gonna go #1. Didn't even rank. And bro, this should have definitely ranked, but he didn't have the bot.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
That guy.
So you have your Taylor Swift, you have all these that just wake up overnight and boom, there's some sensations. You go, how did that happen? She don't even know.
No.
Wow, chat. Wow, you really broke through.
Hey, look, bro. I say it on the documentary, right? And like, all right, think about it. Like J. Cole, one of my favorite artists, man, one of the dopest MCs ever, right? And he's saying how many people get plays from machines, and they not as big as they seem. And what I was trying to reference was, say J. Cole has 10 million fans, the record label can make it look like you got 100 million fans.
Yeah.
So if I'm a guy that looks like I got 1 million fans and I only got 10 fans, we all are inflating our popularity.
Right.
There's levels to this. So now they've allowed you to be used as a mascot of somebody that's shooting down the system. So they're using us against each other. Now, what's more powerful is Chad Focus and J. Cole in the room speaking to each other. J. Cole owns 100% of whatever record he's about to produce and release now. And me doing a strategy for him at cost instead of the label spending his money behind his back and overcharging him to use their internal resources.
And more so all up front. And more so all up front. And now what about,
this is how much
and you brought up T-Pain. I love, and you know T-Pain, well, you know, T-Pain can sing. Now, I mean, he uses his thing, but he can sing like sing
in real life.
Yeah, yeah, and you worked with him and everything. Now, why in the hell?
I got a record.
Yeah,
I got a record that's called "Dance with Me."
Yeah,
T-Pain. Check it out. Y'all gonna like it.
We have the link here. We were gonna pull it up at this fucking Zoom, but it will be an overlay. No, it's killer. No, it's killer. And congratulations, man. But now, why did they suppress him?
All right, so look, T-Pain's situation, bro, was he was making a lot of money, right? And then he got what you call oversaturated. There was a point in time where you couldn't go anywhere without hearing T-Pain or seeing him on a music video or him being on the radio. And when you get that big, it also makes people uncomfortable. So as far as auto-tune, right? Everything nowadays sounds like the sound that he made popular.
Yeah.
And they don't want to give him credit for it, bro.
Dirty motherfuckers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the T-Pain thing is tough, man, because when I put him on the record, I think it was a little bit down where he was kind of taking a break from being as huge as he was. And I'm like, bro, I got Grammy Award winning T-Pain on this record. This shit is out of here. And the industry, bro, supports what they support when they do, and he's independent. So like I said, when you look at the transition of going from major to independent, this is what it is. Shout out to T-Pain. He got Nappy Boy Entertainment. He just signed a dope artist named Nando FPL. But he's now in the independent space. He just threw his Wisconsin Fest, and that's independent. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is there's a real discrepancy between being a major artist and being independent. Whether you're famous and mainstream or whether you're independent and mainstream, it's two different experiences, guys. I can guarantee it.
In other words, he was too good. He was taking up all the plays. Every song he came out with, it didn't matter. Everybody played it. Every club you went to and bought the VIP, you know. You were buying, I know you were buying the VIP like I was back in the day. And everybody put on T-Pain. It was easy. And then all of a sudden, bam, he got too big. He got in the way and went independent. And then they said, okay, next one up. We're going to bot farm the next one up.
You got 60 he got 60 #1 hits plus. Like, he's one of the Billboard's like greatest artists of all time.
Focus 60.
But think about some of the other big artists, right?
Who the fuck else has 60?
Think about his other peers, right? His other peers are still signed to major deals.
Yep.
So when you just sit, look, if you go and sit and look at what we're talking about today, and you'd be like, Focus is crazy, bro. But all the independent guys, whether they're mainstream or whether they're major, this is literally, you can see it's clear cut. It's clear as day. It's major versus independent. And if you're on one side, you get a certain type of treatment. You're on another side, you get a certain type of treatment. That's why I told you guys, I run the streams, for everybody. Independent artists got a certain threshold. It's a strategy I do for those guys that's different than major artists. Just as a different rule book, guy. And it's been like this. Don't fight it. Just build around it. And that's what I do, man. They shut the door, bro. I open up another door right around it, or I jump over the door they put in front of us.
What about like books? Like the New York Times. Yeah. Like New York Times, they have their top whatever 50. Some dumb book is all of a sudden #1. Never heard of the guy. Same thing. They're doing the same thing. Are they buying the books?
You on the same board, bro. Literally, you're buying the books, bro. They got different codes and barcodes on these books, right? And so on the barcodes of the books, even for the industry, it's called UPC codes. That's how you keep track of how many purchases and sales is done, right? So say you're releasing a book, T, and we know that we need 700,000 sales for you to be #1 that week. We'll make sure that you get purchased, bro, so that we can go ahead and recoup what's going on. Now, as far as the partnerships, are we partners with the publisher? Are we partners with some of the stores? So that's how we keep the money in-house, bro. That's how you actually writing up the costs. And if you're doing it and you're saying this is advertising and marketing, what we're going to do at the end of the year, T, we're going to write it off. So you got to understand it's an entire system around being number one and creating this fame. Getting you on the Morning Time America and the Daily Show, and then going on Tonight Show, and you on there with Carson Daly and all these guys. That's all the system, bro. Wow. And even like I said, New York Times, New York Post, bro, having the top thing on Amazon, I could put a book on Amazon and make it number one. I got the resources, I got the access, I got the Amazon account. So call Chad Focus, bro, if you want the number one book on Amazon. That's light work. We make that happen. And then you recoup all the money. So you basically could own number one, spend all of the money, and break even. So now you're famous, you're popular, you got the number one book. Now you done trigger the algorithm so you get real sales.
Now, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. It's just wild. Like, I knew it, but I didn't know it. But now I know it. And you're not crazy. You're just smarter than the other people. That's what you are. Now, like, ballpark, what would somebody spend to be number one on, like, an Amazon with their book? Just ballpark. Give or take.
All right, so look, depending on the category, guys, right? Anywhere between 50 grand or 100 grand, right? And so you specifically find out which niche you're going in, right? Is it crime? Is it horror? Is it pop? So of course, if you're in the popular charts, bro, it's going to cost a lot more money. But if you could figure out a niche that you want to be in, say it's like self-help, you know, you might spend $10,000 to get enough downloads to be number one on the self-help list, right?
On
and then
Amazon.
You also know exactly, right?
Ooh.
But you also got to know who's releasing the book when. So if you think about it like the music industry, right? Doesn't always feel like somebody else is taking a turn to be number one. These labels are in cahoots with each other, the top three. So they'll be like, who's releasing this week? Okay, we got Mariah Carey. All right, well, we're not going to release Ashanti until next week, or Jennifer Lopez till next month, or Britney Spears to this month. So when you look at things, bro, you just got to respect how the industry is set up and what's going on with the machine and the system. I respect the game. I just know that, like I said, I can figure out the system, and it's better to have me on your team, man, than have me against you.
I hope you got a big inbox, buddy.
Yeah,
because you're gonna be crying, right? I mean, at least 2-3 million people. Because, wow. And I saw one of your Instagram things. It went viral. What does it feel like to be? You're in the can, you know, you're on a fucking billboard, and now you're Insta famous.
Hey, man, I tell you this. Hey, look, see. Before I went to prison, that probably was the worst Insta famous because I'm on pretrial and they told me I couldn't use the internet, I couldn't use social media. So everybody is telling me like all the shit that's going on online and I can't respond.
Oh shit.
So they're like, you see what happened with Chet? I'm on everybody's page.
I bet
so the like... original, yeah. I couldn't do shit. So coming home, right? I'm sitting at the halfway house, man, and I'll show you this, right? I got a $10 phone. I still keep this phone. This is the one I went viral with. $10 phone, that's 2 hours of internet, eating in a halfway house, sleeping with 8 other guys, man, half the dudes on drugs, all types of shit.
Oh, yeah.
And what I did see is that I learned how to edit the reels. I learned what was working online. And then I figured out if I could repurpose the content that I felt like Vice had dropped the ball with, and they know how I feel about this.
They dropped
guys,
the ball.
You got some monumental content, right?
They dropped the ball, bro.
You also have,
they dropped
you
the ball.
got to deal with HBO. There's no reason that this shouldn't have been literally like the biggest show ever. Michael K. Williams passed away. You got an episode with a kid giving the wildest shit we ever seen on TV. And not just me, the bot kids that do the sneakers, my kids that do the OnlyFans, like these my friends. And we all under 30 making millions of dollars using automation and showing people some shit that nobody's ever showed them before. So the Instagram thing, bro, I'm humble enough because I'm a marketer. I do this for different reasons. I don't do this to become famous. I do this to let people know that I'm the best at what I do. And I'm also showcasing my skill set that my competitors say they can make you viral, but they don't make themselves viral. I can press a viral button on myself so you know it'll work for you, right? So come and get some of my protein, guys. I use it myself. I'm feeling mighty strong. And it's just been a fun time, bro, because like you said, bro, the algorithm changes all the time. My job is to continue to adapt and to continue to evolve. Instant famous is a weird world, man. Like I said, people watching your videos all day long and send them to you and seeing yourself on all these different pages and platforms. And just to let you know, T, this is nothing, bro. Wait till I got a budget to actually put it on all the pages I want to.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So wait till I do an influencer campaign and put it on Shade Rooms and Academics and Say Cheese and MTV. I haven't even done the cool shit. This is all organic, as they say, right?
Oh, you're gonna be huge. If it makes you feel any better, Vice takes clips from my stuff and they don't even ask me. Yeah, and they don't even put Mscs media
courtesy.
They don't put shit. They just take it, post it up, don't say anything. I just let it go because I just say to myself, hey, any publicity is good publicity. I don't want any problems. Fucking take it. But they've done that about 10 times.
Bullshit.
I'll give you a secret. Here's a secret, right? Tommy drops an album or instrumental, so you start to play like some music in your background. You could turn it up or you could turn it down loud, whatever you want to do. You distribute these instrumental CDs through TuneCore. They're going to create something called a content ID. Every time that they take your music or they take your clips, as long as it's 30 seconds, even if it's playing in the background, you're going to get compensated from the content ID from your actual distribution. The way that all the artists are getting paid is we're manipulating content IDs. So when people syndicate our content or steal our beats, if you're intelligent, you got your copyrights and your distribution, you'll get compensated on the back end.
Focus. Hey, tell me, you rose to the top, T-Pain. I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on. And again, congratulations coming from nothing. Give me one or two just real crazy horror stories that people wouldn't believe that you saw. And I know they couldn't do it to you because you were ahead of the game, but that you saw during that time.
Oh, I'll give you some wild shit. First of all, I should have been like when you see me with the billboards talking about I was the #1 artist in the world, guys. I put together a campaign that if that was for an artist that was signed to a major label, they'd have been the #1 shit in the world. I put together a campaign that was just as good as like Lil Nas X. All right, meaning that I understood how social media worked. I understood how influence worked. I went and got the mainstream feature. I had radio stations and all types of support. I went out to BET Awards and I got this video, and I would love to send it to you so you can see it, T. I took my entire hood to the BET Awards. I took about 75 kids, put people on their first plane rides. I rented out 6 Airbnb mansions, Rolls Royces, I8s, Mercedes, everything. So I wanted to show my entire hood an experience. The reason why I was doing this is because I wanted the industry to see that, a young kid from Baltimore could figure out this entire industry, create his own independent record label, and that he could partner with you and get this done on a big scale. I took everybody out there with me, man, and I was supposed to take everybody to the BET Awards. During this time, bro, I had maxed my card out, which I had never done before, which means is that I had probably spent $1 million in 1 month on just a bunch of ridiculous things.
And we all do
at this point, I wasn't ready yet to trigger like what I had going on with Agora. So this is July 2018. I lost my job contract August 2018. I had a manic meltdown in July 2018 BET Awards, guys. I was on Adderall. I was running around crazy. So all I remember, bro, was falling asleep outside, man, and I almost drowned because I fell asleep in like a hot tub. And I was out there in Cali, and I had been working so hard. And I went to the BET Awards, and I thought about if I have signed to a mainstream deal and not been doing all this independent, I would have had to leave everybody that was there behind. And I had to sit and realize, like, do I want the life of like a MC Hammer? Do I want to be Jay-Z? And I was like, yo, I'm gonna be MC Hammer. And we all know how his story went, guys. He went back to Oakland, he grabbed up everybody, and he gave away his fortune, and he spent all his money. And I chose to be Baltimore's MC Hammer, guys. I should have been at a more strategic, smarter space where I sent everybody home. So I worked to the point, Tommy, that I had people all around the place. Everybody was sleeping on floors, man. We had cars, money, drugs, everything that you're looking for, bro. And I seen all of that, bro, and I didn't want it. And that's when I realized that I wanted to be more behind the scenes and have more control, and that how chaotic an artist's life could really be. So I've experienced the plight of being an artist, guys. I've experienced how these people like have gone crazy and lost their mind. I've seen the Kurt Cobain and the Whitney Houston type of the industry of when that pressure becomes too much and what it can do to a person and the inside that we will never see. So I got to see like the heights, bro, and how much pressure that people deal with. And I almost, bro, drowned in the hot tub, man, turned up off of too much Adderall, weed and Hennessy. And it almost became to that point, bro, of not sleeping, exhaustion. And if somebody wasn't there to wake me up and pull me out of that motherfucking hot tub, I wouldn't be here today.
I'm glad you're here, but I get it because what fun, back in the day when I had a lot, what fun is it to have a Lamborghini and a Rolls Royce and Bentleys and all the shit that we both had and not have anybody with you. So you go back to your friends that you think are your friends, but they're really not your friends. And then you go buy a necklace and you want your buddy that you grew up with to have a necklace too, but really he don't give a fuck about you. And meanwhile, next thing you know, you spend all this money on this prick for nothing. He don't care about you, but you think he does. Then subconsciously you realize that, and then you're working your ass off. And I'm not trying to speak for you, but it just from my own experience. And then you hit the bottle, the Adderall, or whatever, you know, and that's just what happens. Yeah. Especially if you don't have a good surrounding. You know, a good surrounding. You know what I mean? And with you, it happened so fast, so young, so huge.
Quick, man.
You know?
Yeah.
So I get it. And then I read your indictment. And to me, I think it's bullshit. Complete bullshit. I don't even, well, I understand why they indicted you. You got in their way. That's what, in my opinion. I don't, in your words, because fuck the media, do you think you should have been indicted? And if so, what did you actually do wrong? Because, okay, you ran up a card. Okay, well, you ran up a card, but how much did you make them on that card?
Got you. Well, I put it like this, right? When I started with Agora, guys, the biggest, like me and you were having a conversation about what artists should do to get money, blah, blah, blah. What I should have done when I went to corporate America is, one, I should have had a great attorney, guys. I should have had a great accountant. I was at 22 years old. I didn't even know what those things meant. So first and foremost, I didn't start the correct way. Yeah. Second and first and foremost, somebody should have been reading my contracts as far as the operating agreement with the Amex card, the NDA, the non-competes. So these are things, guys, that I got manipulated into signing, and I didn't understand, right, as well. Agora had me purchasing systems, contracts through my personal accounts and my personal likeness, Tommy, using their business accounts. So they were able to write it off where I caught all the liability. So that's for any type of advertising, media buys, SEO systems, backlinks. Yeah. What I realized they were doing is that they were creating a way to have a liability conversation if something ever went wrong. So what Google does, guys, is that they will flag you if you do stuff that are on the up and up. If you violate their terms of service. For me, spending all that money and doing the backlinks and building the systems, they were able to reap the benefits. But when Google came knocking on their doors, they could create the separation and say, we had this third-party worker that we had outsourced to, guys, that was an employee of ours, and he was doing things that were malicious that kind of endangered our actual platform. Wow. So not only that, bro, when you look at what went on with their FTC case, my job was to bring traffic to an actual platform that sold products in what we call the Ponzi scheme space, guys, where they're over-promising and super under-delivering, right? The target market was people that were between 55 and 75 that had money to buy into packages for them to get rich. So they were purchasing get-rich-quick schemes. All the testimonials were fraudulent. All of the copywriting was lies. All of the testimonials never happened before. So they would tell people that, look, man, I want you to buy this $5,000 package. You're going to make $1 million with a system that didn't even work. If you look at what they dealt with for their case, type in Agora FTC, they were monetizing fake diabetes cures and tell people to invest in the technology for this. And they were taking money from old folks. So they got hit with a multi-million-dollar claim as far as fraud. The other company I was working with, guys, was called Mold, which also got hit with like a Ponzi scheme, FTC. And I got hit with the wire fraud, the conspiracy, and also all of these things as far as stealing from those guys. What you also got to realize is that I had that Amex account and I worked for these guys, man, for over 7.5 years. If you have an Amex account, guys, they have to approve the charges on a month-to-month basis. So that's how you guys know there was some inside shit that was going on. All of the other managers had all types of embezzlement spins, but they didn't look like me. I was the only guy that was indicted. Everybody else was given immunity. Everybody else that got suspended got rehired, got bigger contracts. They still make money and profit off of chat-focused systems and data to this point. They hired a guy named Neil Patel, which is a young guy who's in the actual SEO space, who took my actual data, bro, and he's one of the best in the industry. So they basically violated me, bro, and there's nothing that I could do about it. And also, bro, the prosecutor and the judges, when you look at what's going on, bro, I'm from Baltimore. The mayor from Baltimore was prosecuted that year. The commissioner of Baltimore was prosecuted. They're even prosecuting Marilyn Mosley, man, who was the last state's attorney, and she was the one who originally indicted the 6 cops that killed Freddie Gray. So I've seen people where I'm from, bro, young, black, prominent, be indicted, man, and put in positions that the other white counterparts were not in Baltimore. Not saying that it's a conspiracy, bro. I'm just saying it's a coincidence.
I'm saying it's a conspiracy. What'd you steal? You didn't steal anything. They had to prove it. How the fuck can you charge somebody with stealing and wire fraud? But I get it. I get it. You were the one that they could say, okay, well, it was Focus. Even though I read the whole thing. I can read indictments, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And even in the fucking indictment, you didn't steal anything. How could somebody steal something when they had to approve the Amex and you made them money? They gave you the card.
Yeah.
So, and then the prosecutor that got indicted, are they going to give you your 4 years back? Are they going to give you your money back you lost? No. And what they do to them? They went in and they paid a fine and they went home to their family. That's what they did. Just like Big Pharma. Yep. Dirty, man.
But you know, bro, it's also, you got to realize, like I said, I respect the game, right? Yeah. And so for me to have me as a pawn, genius move. The guy, like I said, the guy that brought me in, he was rocking me to sleep from the beginning. I do this analogy, man. I talk about, like I said, Wolf of Wall Street, right? You're looking at Jordan Belfort. He's with, that's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's with Matthew McConaughey when the movie starts. They doing the cocaine. He's showing them how the whole shit runs, and he's scamming from the day he starts. The day I started with the company was the day that it was a scam, right? So from the first day, bro, I was going to strip clubs, restaurants, and we were living the perks of a big corporate life, right? You know, my supervisor's like, bro, this is the way we treat ourselves, bro. We make the type of money that me and you want to make this company. These are the perks. So I enjoy the perks, bro. And the perk could be at $1. The perk could be at $1 million. A perk is a perk. And I was just a guy, man, that kind of took it a little too far in their eyes. I'll say it like this. If we went out of town and we rented, you know, Bentleys and Rolls Royces and big fucking, you know, Airbnbs and nice exotic hotels, if my counterparts left and went home 3 days earlier, I invited my friends out and say, look, bro, we here, man. We shooting music videos. We having a good time. I got this big ass villa by myself. So all I did, man, was capitalize, man, off of the opportunity, the position that I was in. And I just maximized what I had as far as access, guys. And anybody that's coming from where I'm from is going to want to put and bring their team along for the ride. Like you said,
sure.
What is it if nobody else can come on? Not only did I do that, I taught my guys SEO. I brought my own agency. I brought my team on. I created my own network. And when they realized that they funded not only that, but they also helped create the process of Chad Focus Learning. And this game is trial and error. I built myself up. They built themselves up. They just didn't know that they were building a monster. And I think that's really what scared them at the end of the day. I know how to do their systems. I understand newsletters, emails, back ends, front ends, upsells, downsells. I can program. I can copyright, guys. I know how to hire. So as far as how a Fortune 500 company was built, how a multi-million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar corporation runs on the inside and outside, I know how to do it as a worker. I know how to do it as a boss. And now, guys, I've been through all of the bullshit as far as the system. I stayed solid. You don't got to walk around and talk about Chad Focus snitching, this, that, and that. I took my actual shit on like a man, bro. I had co-conspirators. Those were my family members. They said, we give you a plea deal so they don't become co-defendants. You going to jail as a fucking conspiracy to wire fraud. Conspiracy is 2 or more people. I went to jail, man, for a conspiracy to commit wire fraud by myself.
This episode is sponsored by Aurora. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is? For years, this crime rate has been surging and affecting millions of Americans. I'm talking about identity theft, and there's a new victim every 14 seconds. Yet despite this, those who have had their identity stolen are often shocked when it happens. That's why I'm excited to partner with Aurora, who is sponsoring this video. Aurora is identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all into one easy-to-use app. Their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online by keeping your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted. Protect you and your family from America's fastest growing crime. Try Aurora for free for 2 weeks and see if you or anyone in your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial today. Go to aurora.com/MSCS. The link is in the description below. That's a man. That's the man. You were a man is what you were. Yep. And they had to get rid of you. At the end of the day, they had to get rid of you. They had to get rid of you somehow. Last couple of things. You mentioned Michael Jackson had owned everything with Sony. That makes me think that they set him, I mean, this sounds conspiracy, but that like they whacked him out because he owned too much. Okay. Prince owned too much. Yeah. Got to get rid of him. I mean, it might be conspiracy tin hat shit. But I don't know. You put 2 and 2 together. Doctor comes over. He's Michael Jackson. Doctor got off on, what did he do, 3 years?
3 years?
Yeah, I mean,
3 years for killing the King of Pop?
3 years for killing the King of Pop, and he's living in a $50 million mansion. I don't know. I didn't realize he owned everything, and I'm sure you know this, and now you've taught me this. How do you think Sony liked the fact that Michael owned all of his shit? And Sony, how do you think they liked that?
We know how they liked it. They didn't. And think about this, right? Even him and Paul McCartney, right? Think about the relationship they had. Paul McCartney gave Mike the game. He like, look, bro, they're going to be selling back and reverting our masters, and this for sale, and you can do this and that. So him and Mike, man, they go to the auction, and Michael Jackson spent more money than Paul McCartney. And so Paul, like, I thought we was friends. Mike, like, yeah, we is friends, but this is business.
That's right. He had the Beatles too. That's right. You said he had the Beatles. Oh yeah. So, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy guy, but I don't know. Some don't make sense to me.
Even what I'm doing, right? I'm coming back into the game, and I'm telling the artists, like, man, your masters and your publishing guys are available for reversion, right? Instead of going and buying a brand new chain or a new Bentley, go and buy back the masters and the publishing that you own, man. Leave something of legacy for your kids. Because if you don't, somebody like myself is going to buy it, or somebody that I'm consulting with is going to be like, yo, his catalog's available. I'm gonna purchase it, and I'm gonna pay Chad Focus to market it, and then we're gonna go to a bank and we're gonna get some value on this, guys, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get a loan. I'm gonna get an evaluation. So think about some of our biggest artists right now, bro. Justin Timberlake just sold his masters in publishing, right? And you got Lil Wayne, you got Murder Inc., you got Quality Control, Taylor Swift. Yo, they're spending billions of dollars on people's catalogs. So just imagine how much that's going to worth over the next 1,000 years. This isn't just a short-term play. When these people are long, dead, and gone, just like Elvis, how much money are they going to be making off these people's catalogs, their likeness, the work they created forever?
Yeah. Tupac, right? That fucking catalog he had, even though they ruined the beat. If they would have just kept the beats the way they had them, Pac, Jesus. Yeah, go buy Cuban Zakovic. Nobody could tell. And go to Alibaba and get a, what do they call it, a one-for-one Rolex, and invest your money the right way. Nobody's going to know.
Think about it, lab diamonds, right? Lab diamonds is like one of the best inventions of all time. So we talked about blood diamonds, right? Little kids in Africa and people getting killed for the blood diamonds.
Yeah, how fucked up is that?
Give me a lab diamond.
That is crazy.
Come on, bro. Give me a lab diamond, man, for $1,000. It still passes diamond tester, and it looks better than the shit that you're getting from Africa, and nobody has to die for it. Oh, all right, sign me up.
How about, I didn't realize that until recently. When they have these little kids,
miners,
kids mining these diamonds, risking their life, breathing in all that crap.
They pay nothing.
And get paid nothing. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. Last thing before when are you off that thing where you can fly around?
I got look. So we're looking at March 2023. I mean, 2024, March 2024, right? And so my job, man, is to stay out of trouble as much as possible. not to do too many, look, not to do too many interviews that go viral, not to shake things up a little bit. So, you know, I'm just doing the best I can, man. I'm working through my probationary terms, and next year, man, is when I come off of the house arrest. But I'm able to, like, you know, go to legal meetings, man, and some things for the kids and like doctor's visits. But this has been the last 4 years of my life, T. I literally been constrained to the crib and my podcast room, man.
Yeah, but you'll get through it like you did everything else. And we talked a lot about a lot of stuff, but also a lot about how to help people. You know what I mean? And I want to ask you, so someone who they want to get into the music industry, before they get into that music, before they go down that journey, what would you tell them? I know we talked about, you know, getting your credit right. Probation should like that. You know, getting your credit right and everything else. No, really, they should like what we're saying here. I mean, you should get some early release.
Brownie points.
You know, but what, you know, a young kid that doesn't know, what would you warn them before going down that journey?
You know what? I'll tell you this, man. The most important part, man, is just be and I'll say this, man. Fall in love with the process and the hard work. So that's the most important part, because if you love what you do, it's going to eventually pay off. And I know too many guys that I've met in this industry, a lot of them nowadays, they get into it just to make the money. That's the frustration for them. If you love what you do, man, as far as being a creator, you will figure this out. You get what I'm saying? And I think that passion, man, is what really drives me, bro. Like you said, you're like, look, man, where'd you come up with this? I was raised from, like I said, parents, man, are really passionate, love what they do. My father makes money and helps people. My mom was a nurse, man. She literally cures people back to life, right? So that's what it is for me, man. I'm passionate about what I do. You know, I understand that the resources that I get are going to come from how successful I am, and that's going to allow me to make an impact on my community. And as far as this music industry, bro, this shit right here, man, is a marathon, as Nipsey Hussle would say. Yeah, this right here, man, this ain't for the faint, guys. This ain't for the faint of hearts, man. Like, you got to be in it. You got to have a tough, strong mindset. And you got to work your ass off, man. And I know that nobody's going to outwork me, T. And that's the one thing that I can count on, bro. So if you're willing to go out here and outwork your competitors, man, it's a place for you in this industry.
Nothing like your mom. Nothing like moms, man. Nothing like moms, you know?
Most definitely, bro. You know.
I forgot to ask you, dude, what happened with so you got Baby, you know, his reputation, but he seems to pick and choose who he messes with. Why do you think that Carter album got held up? Was that just a publicity stunt, or what do you think happened with that? I've been curious about that since the day that the whole thing happened.
You know what's crazy? Hey, look, I'll be like this. I don't actually know the inner workings of like those guys' business or whatnot, but
just
looking from the outside in, right?
Yeah.
Just my opinion, right? The industry, man, has so much red tape, right? And if you hear what Baby said in the interviews, he said that when I got into the industry as a young man, I didn't understand how important contracts were and how I had to fulfill certain obligations. And I think that, bro, just certain things not being set up the correct way, black and white, is what the red tape was. They had to go back and audit so much money that they made and figure out the correct splits and certain things they had to get going on. When you got somebody as big as a Lil Wayne, bro, that project can make or break careers and lives. It's got to be a successful project. It's got to be a successful launch. And for him, bro, he's the first guy that released the album and did what? Platinum in a week? So it was a lot of stuff going on, bro. And I think business-wise, man, that's the one thing we learned, guys. A lot of discrepancies are over business and money, and things that we hope to not happen in the latter could be prevented if we know the information better when we first get started. And I've been a victim of that, as we see, right? The things that I dealt with, man, as far as my Fed case and working for, you know, the company I work for, guys, it wouldn't have happened if I was much more intelligent as I am at 35 versus 22. The mistakes I made at 22 landed me in prison at 32 years old.
Yeah, man. You got anything else?
I'm just blown away by I didn't talk too much, but just by it opened my eyes to just the world that we live in when it comes to, you know, the books, the movies, Netflix. Like, there's just so much that behind the scenes stuff that I never realized. And Kalen Chase really comes to mind for me because I think he needs to talk to him.
Oh, he will.
Because his song is out of this world. And you can't. I don't get it.
The movies are the same way. When they release a movie, they bought it up. Same shit.
Well, you also, like I said, it's guaranteed. So think about it, right? Avatar came out. Did you not think Avatar was not going to be the #1 movie again of all time?
Of course.
What if Avatar bombed? Do you think that's possible?
They can't let that happen.
You can't let it. It can't happen, right? Yeah. So you got to have Avatar 3, 4, and 5. So when you see stuff like that, that's guaranteed to happen, guys. You know that there's got to be respect for the system and the machine. You got to respect it. And when things go wrong, such as the Justice League, and then they got to rearrange everything going on with DC Comics. Come on, guys. You'll see overhaul when things don't go right. When things go right, like Avengers, you're going to see a bunch of movies with the same characters for 15 years. You know, that's just how the game goes. Think about Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
You had 10.
Like 10.
And we got a part 2 coming to the last one that just dropped. And it might be a part 3 if they're smart.
I'm so sick of it though, but yeah, they push them up so everybody goes and what? Damn, I think that's just so wild, man.
I think
I'm gonna watch Fast 20. Like when Vin Diesel, when Vin Diesel is in the wheelchair, I'm still coming out to watch Ludacris and Vin Diesel fly around in cars, guys. Like, they're not drag racing no more. He got muscle cars that pull airplanes and helicopters. Like, yeah, I want to see what's next.
Yeah.
All right.
You see the John Wick 4 though?
Of course, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
so John Wick is like
he's a beast,
he's deflecting bullets. He's deflecting bullets right in front of him.
I love it though.
Hey, look, it's better than the Matrix. John Wick is better than Neo now, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. What? I love number 2 when he's like running around the city forever, never gets tired. Tired. No cramp.
Yeah, and the best part is it's all over a dog.
Yeah.
It's all over a dog. He's taking out 90 bodies at a clip over his dog. That one deserves to be up there. You know what I mean? But
man's best friend.
Focus. Say all everywhere. You know, I have everything in the description for you at the top. Spit out everything: your Facebook, Instagram, everything you got going. Especially the university. $600 is the deal. And I'm not saying that because I'm not sitting, looking at across from you from some stupid virtual thing.
Hey, guys, what's up, man? Hey, look, guys, man, it's been a blessing to be here with you today, man. Chad Focus, man, straight out of Baltimore. We back again. Check me out, man, on Instagram. I am Chad Arrington. Also, I'm a Chad Focus, guys. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The website, guys, my official website is chadfocus.com. And just this week, guys, we launched the pre-sale of Focus Music University. Right now, guys, 60% off before it goes back to full price, man. That will be on July 4th, 2023. If you need me at all, man, DM me, man. I am Chad Arrington. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out here, man, on the podcast with my guys. And I appreciate you guys' time. Stay blessed, man. And, holla at the boy, man.
And the ebook. What can we get out of the ebook?
Oh, we got the ebook, man. So, look, it's the Independent Hustlers Guide, man, for the musicians and artists to make $10,000 a month. I'm breaking down for you guys, man, how to start your LLC, how to set up your copyright, your administration, how to do all of the important parts, man, as far as, like, your ownership. And then I teach you how to promote your records, man. Right now, for you artists, getting on radio, making sure you're capitalizing your streaming, understanding how automation works and influencer. And, I'm the guy with the sauce, man. So I basically help artists, man, get paid and get the royalties they deserve. If you want to be independent, if you want to be major, no matter what your goal is, man, we got a lane for you guys. And I've been doing it successfully, man, for the last decade. So, you come in and get my experience. You come in and learning from my trial and error. And we're going to help you guys fast track and, get over those hurdles.
And I'm correct. If you get the ebook, you get a free consultation. Is that right?
Yo, so look, if you get you get a consultation, guys, for a half an hour, the ebook comes as a part of that complimentary. Oh. So you'll get the actual ebook right now, guys, with the consultation. Outside of that, you just DM me and we give you guys a copy of the book, man, and we work from there.
All right, Chad. Man, a pleasure talking to you, man. Wish you the best, utmost respect. You're a genius. And no, one more thing. Elon. Now. Dr. Malone, do you know who Dr. Malone is? He created the mRNA. He's the top vaccinologist in the planet, but super smart, smart.
I know Fauci, man. That's all I know is
Fauci. You know Fauci? Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez. Well, okay. Fauci. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. You were on vacation for a little bit. You were on sabbatical. Anyway, so this Dr. Malone, I've had him in a few times. 2 years ago, he told me that Elon is the arm of all this bullshit. I fought him left. Now this is a guy I'm fighting with for fucking Harvard, everywhere else. You're wrong. You're wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Elon buys Twitter for double the amount. Okay, he wants free speech. Okay. He sets up encrypted messages. Okay. All right. Now, Chad, you know where I'm going with this, where we know what's going on. So now, okay. Everybody moves over with Elon. It's going to be free speech. Fox fires Tucker Carlson for some scandal that they supposedly paid $800 million for. We both know that isn't true. It's that he wasn't following the agenda. Nobody pays $800 million for whatever some derogatory marks. So that's bullshit. Elon goes and gets Tucker. Then he goes and tries to get Don Lemon. Okay? All right. I don't know if he got Don Lemon or not. Right after he gets Tucker, he appoints Laura somebody as CEO of Twitter, the most censorous person in the planet, to the point where after he appointed her, I tweeted Malone, Dr. Malone, I'm a moron. I should have listened to you. I got a censor thing pop up. We don't like to have this wording. This violates our standards of speech. Okay.
Yep.
4 days later, the FDA approves the third stage of the Neuralink chip.
Got you. Be careful.
So what I'm saying is Elon's the arm that no one's looking at.
I think everybody's looking at him if they're smart. I'm going to tell you this. This is how powerful Elon is, right? Twitter starts making people pay for the verification badges. Elon says, I'm not going to make what LeBron James, like certain people like pay for it. Like, this is how genius he is. He changes an entire business model. Immediately, Instagram starts paying me for my reels. and now Instagram makes you pay for the verification badge.
Yep.
This guy can move trillion-dollar culture like that, right? Just think about how powerful he is. And behind the scenes, Tucker Carlson, people don't know that now Fox is out here trying to sue to say that he's not allowed to come out of his contract and go on other platforms until 2024. So I'm looking at a lot of different things that's happening. I'm like, yo, Elon is so smart, bro, that he acquired one of the probably the most politically polarizing platform that you could have access to. So think about this, right? If you want to win the election, 2024, is that when it's coming up?
Yeah.
You better make Elon Musk your best friend.
Yeah, but why put her? If you're for free speech, why put the most non-free speech person as CEO of the company? The non.
Because
why?
It's bro. It's all propaganda, bro, and it's all contradiction, bro. It's all contradiction. Yeah, and you know what time it is. Yeah. And look, let me tell you this: when you said that you seen the little flag that came up over your content, they're watching the people that speak out against what they're doing.
Yep.
So it's real, bro.
So much for that free speech. I mean, I'm not taking away from what the guy can do. I'm just saying that was a hell of a move.
Why do you think DeSantis did his?
What's that?
DeSantis. That's how he announced his presidency with Elon on.
Oh yeah. So it's all a fucking scam. It's a scam everywhere you look, man.
Hey, look, you want to be on the good side of the bad side of the scam, so you better figure out what side you are.
Shit. If I did one of those things, I'd be doing a decade. Me and Focus would be on a decade for something like that. But, all right, man, it was fun, man. Thank you so much. And that as soon as you can, come on, I'll fly you in, come Palm Beach. You have a good time.
Of course.
We'll have a good time.
I appreciate it, man.
Because, you can't really have, like, cool in-depth. I wanted to ask about UFOs and all kinds of shit, but you can't do that on Zoom.
I gotta make it inside the studio, man. I need the experience, man.
Yeah, man. We'll have fun. All right, I wish you the best. I'm going to text you some things, some people I want to set you up with.
I appreciate you so much, man. Thanks a lot again, T.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
God bless.
Condolences. My condolences, man, for real.
Hey, I'm here, man. I had to make it because of you, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Anytime. And if it is 24, I'd like to see you again before 24 on a better Zoom.
Of course. I got you. I'll see y'all soon.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot.